Legends, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic, guys. We'll be analyzing the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. See what's going on, guys. Make sure to destroy that like button if you do enjoy the content. And let's go right away through the comment section first of all, guys. Okay, Bitcoin still in the range. We did get back above the levels that were mentioned on the previous stream. I was not expecting this, guys. I had a short position in this zone, expecting these lows to be taken. Now we've swept these highs, acceptable for another short position, guys, in my opinion. But we're still basically bouncing here, highs and lows of this range, sweeping these local highs internally, which is kind of acceptable. I do believe that we are going to pop out soon out of this range, but we can actually look to short the highs and long the lows of the range, right? That's the overall game plan. We did find a bottom here on the 1st, 31st, and the 1st of January, and we started climbing up here. Now, I want to explain what happened in this zone here, because eventually, if you get this high up, you're eventually going to take out these lower highs that we had in this zone. There were a huge amount of shorts entering here, at least on Bybit. I'm going to go through this, basically this local price action on the lower time frame. We're getting a nice little move down right now. New York Open is coming in 5 minutes, so we're going to have to see how New York Open is going to be as well in about 5 minutes. So still in the range, guys. The higher time frame is just becoming the 1 hour to the 4 hour time frame. It's becoming very, very tricky, I have to say. Very, very tricky about the either break up or breakdown. Okay, so we just need to attempt longs at the lows of the range and shorts at the highs of the range. What can I say? Attempted a short, got stopped out at break even, re-entered a new short as we were claiming these lower highs today, and see if we can come down to the lows of the range, or we end up moving up here to the upside. So let me know in the comment section, what do you think, guys? It is looking very, very interesting. We've got over 300 people watching this stream. Smash it up. Let's say hello to the legends here in the comment section and see what's going on. Okay, see what's going on here with the price of Bitcoin. Happy New Year, legends. Happy New Year. Just a very rangy zone. Very, very rangy zone for a few weeks right now. These movements are $2,000 to $3,000, right? We kind of need if you're short from the range highs, or if you're long from the range lows, it seems like we need to take profit as soon as you get close to the range highs, right? I'm in a short position right now in this zone. And, I have to give a little bit of credit here to Devil, because it was pointing out a possible bearish case scenario where we might have a triangle here on the formation, but instead of this being a bullish triangle, it is, I've got it here on a folder, guys. Okay. Going a bit through Elliott wave theory. It's coming a little bit challenging at the moment to see where the price is going to actually break, because there is the bullish one as well that we mentioned on the 31st, which is also forming a triangle on the E wave, right, where you have here the double zigzag in your wave W, A, B running flat, and your B wave gets above the A wave, C, D lower high, and then you have an A, B, C, D, E, and now giving the chance for the bulls to maybe stretch its legs from this point right now. We don't sweep up the lows, we end up sweeping up the highs, and we'll go from there. Man, this range is getting me on my nerves at this moment. Just to have a higher probability scenario, which I don't have, guys. I'm pretty damn neutral on either moving up or moving down of the range at this point. This would be the bullish one. E wave triangle inside of the larger triangle, which is rare on its own, but Bitcoin is rare already with this range that we formed in the last few weeks. This is the other one that I kind of like as well, where what we're looking at is a 3-wave move to the upside in a wave A and a 3-wave move down in a wave B for a flat later on, bottom out at some point in between the 0.9 Fibonacci and even sweeping up these lows at 80K, and then getting the rally right in that C wave. You know, we just need to like long the lows of the range and short the highs of the range, guys, because that's how I can manage risk anyway. If you're trying to long here the lows of the range, you know, you want to have tight-ish invalidations, because the one that actually comes down to the lows of the range or takes out the lows or takes out the highs, you know, with your stop losses being quite shallow, I mean, those are the big ones, right? Those are the trades that you want to get in. So, you know, tight stop losses, invalidations are pretty clear on regardless what triangle plays out, because we are forming lower highs, right? It looks like we're going to sweep up the lows or we're going to sweep up the highs of the range. We never get to do that, at least in the last 2 weeks. So hear me out here, right? It at some point it's going to pop out, right? At some point it's just going to take out the lows or take out the highs, right? Which is the one that is going to come first is the main question. I don't need to know that if I want to manage risk and I want to take longs at the lows or shorts at the highs of the range. My risk management is in place. The one that moves is the one that's going to give me the profits, okay? If you manage risk and try to long the lows or short the highs of this range, right? So the bearish scenario is this A wave triangle in the B wave, and then, you know, supposedly we break out in a 5-wave structure to form that C wave here, with the potential of claiming 80K, maybe not 80K, maybe 82K, but it is a scenario that eventually can happen. This one is pushing down. This one does actually finally push down and gets out of this multi-weekly range, the bearish one, of course. And the bullish one is a completed triangle here on the wave X. So you're looking at W in a zigzag, A, B, C, D, E in a triangle, and just your E wave from the D point is a triangle also, right over here. 5 waves, and this is some bullish structure that ends up moving up and takes out 90.5K plus to form your Y wave. Y wave could be a flat, it could be a zigzag, takes out 95K. Yeah, I missed out the long. I mean, obviously this was New Year. I just had my position protected, got stopped out early this morning. So, yeah, we're just gonna have to trade the range still, guys. You know, short the highs of the range, long the lows of the range for that bigger move of $3,000, maybe $4,000 if we come to the lows or come to the highs. So we are still in the triangle, guys. What can we say, right? We are still in the range, still in the triangle. It's what can we say? I am betting on the movement down here, because I have a pattern, I have a scenario, I have the ABC, I have the triangle here for your B wave. You know, move down, boom, boom, boom. You know, very, very triangle-y structure. Some may argue it's a bear flag, whatever. But yeah, we're giving another attempt here for the movement down at the highs of the range. So we're going to see if that does play out throughout the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's say hello to the beautiful community. But first of all, I need to be very, very clear with the content, guys. It is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. The information provided is not guaranteed to be accurate or complete. Always conduct your own research before making any financial decision. Let's go, let's go. Say hello to the beautiful community. Still in the range, guys. What can we say? Was happy for this to be the highs of the movement. Get the movement down. We found a bottom and we started recovering. So I missed that long position. and I got stopped out at break even from the short that I had a few days ago. What do I have left? I'm not going to long up here eventually after sweeping some highs. I'm going to actually attempt the short based on new information on the chart, which gives me the possibility that we have a completed triangle here for the ABC scenario down. So let's say hello to the beautiful community first of all. Happy New Year, everybody. It's not been an easy range. I've had a not an extremely profitable week, guys. I have to say, we have to be honest sometimes here, right? Well, we have to be honest all the time, and it's not been an easy range. But anyway, I think we've seen that throughout the live streams that we've done throughout the last week. It's just not been extremely easy. Now, as mentioned, I think it was doable for a short in this area, because the market right now in this range, if it only misses by a few $100s to sweep up the lows, right, on each movement, it still can be a few $100s, right, to sweep up the highs of the range. So sweeping up these highs and getting close to these lower highs, for me, it's already a reason to attempt a short. There's, trade the range until it breaks, right? And obviously when you long the lows or short the highs, there will be a moment that you will get stopped out eventually, and then look for the next trade zone. So it was very doable to get into a short in this area, just with that same theory, right? Not claiming the range highs, not claiming the range lows. So let's see. Give me your opinion in the comment section, guys. We're just literally in a stuck range for many weeks at the moment. So a couple of weeks, just over 2 weeks now. And we just have to trade the range, right? Feliz Año Nuevo, Andy. Paz Maria Vallejos, much love to you. Happy to start this year learning with you. Much love. Thank you very much for the kind words. Much love to you. Dinis, much love. Hello. 2026, you're crazy. Jonathan, we are here. Daniel Singleton, much love to you, brother. Happy New Year. Hope you're doing well, my man. I wish you all the best, and to everybody here, really. BTC is way behind gold. Yes, it is. It is way behind gold, with some interesting data here that I want to go through here. Also, which is, seems like long-term BTC holders are starting to become net buyers here for the first time in months. Last time was, basically entering into May, where we started flipping here. And we could see there was a lot of selling pressure just throughout all-time high in October, November, part of December. And it's, starting to turn over at this moment. So is this the ultimate signal that we're bottoming out? Well, we've been ranging for many weeks right now. So we could arguably discuss it is a bottoming range, okay? But the problem is this movement does not look motive. It doesn't look like a 5-wave structure. The only way we can fit a 5-wave is some dodgy contracting diagonal, which means that this would have to be your wave 2, right? If it is the most bullish case scenario, wave 1 contracting leading diagonal, wave 2, and we are forming something bullish here, which I don't want to go with the ultimate bullish scenario. I just don't see it, guys. Or the ultimate very bearish scenario. It seems like this range is going to continue regardless if we sweep up 90.5k or 95k, or even sweep up the lows at 94.6k here, and even 80k. I don't see any big movement on Bitcoin for the next couple of weeks. It still looks rangy, and the main reason you might think, well, why do you think that this range is going to continue here and we're not going to get a massive move to 100k plus, right? Or get down to 70k in the next 1 to 2 weeks? And the main reason is there is not a solid bullish or bearish structure from the last pivot low for the bullish case scenario, we would have to see this as something like a wave 1, a wave 2, and a wave 1, wave 2, and you know, we finally start rocketing here in the next coming days. I just don't see that scenario here. This would have to be a leading diagonal. It does not fit in nicely. You've got more of a 5-wave structure here in your wave 3, a very 3-wavy structure in your wave 5. You cannot mix them up on your motive waves. It's either 3-3-3 or 5-5-5. So, you know, this movement down as well, something bullish from this pivot low. There's nothing really that bullish to believe that we're going to really pop out here like massively. Of course, we're going to end up sweeping up 90.5k at some point and even reaching the highs at 95k. But believing that you're going to get a wave 3 here develop in the next coming days, just based on this movement and this movement here, is low probability, right? So I am not seeing a big move on the formation to happen in the next coming days. It's going to take a few weeks. We're going to continue the range with some other rangy structures that, you know, are basically being explained throughout the beginning of the stream. We'll go through them step by step as well. And the bearish case scenario would be this one, which is also not too convincing. The higher time frame, we are losing time for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, we end up breaking down in a 5th wave just because from the last lower high, unless this is going to be a sideways WXY and a wave 4, and we end up breaking down here, you know, I just don't see this being a very, very strong impulse. Well, it's a diagonal eventually, leading diagonal, low probability. And all of this being a correction and this being a wave 1, you know, this would have to be a wave 2 right there, because that's your last lower high, this one that we had on the 22nd of December. We're still forming lower highs, even though we're very rangy. This would have to be a wave 1. This would have to be a wave 2 in a 3-wave structure. And this another wave 1 and this potential another wave 2, which is not fitting in nicely. You know, 1, 2, and another 1, 2 here, and another 1, 2 here, and then break down in a 3rd wave. Just does not look great for the bearish case scenario. This is extending too much in 1-2s. They're getting long. It just doesn't fit nicely. And of course, with that conclusion that there's no big major bearish case or no big major bullish case from the structure being developed in the last few weeks, the conclusion is the range to continue, right? How can the range continue? Well, as explained, we have this scenario, which you could have a 3-wave A wave and a WXY, 3-wave developing right now for your B wave, then form a flat move up to take out the highs. You have the local bullish case scenario, which is, you know, your E wave here, the triangle, which is very much a possibility. Still, you got the 3-wave up, A, B, C, D, E. The E wave is a triangle on its own, which is rare but possible, and the low is in, and we're going to take out 90.5k here at a bare minimum, which is possible with the leg that we're getting here to the upside from today. With this scenario, obviously this is a corrective structure, and you do not expect the price to blast off here to the upside. Not expecting that. And there's a few scenarios. We'll jump in on the 15-minute, 1-hour time frame now, guys, in the next coming minutes. We're just pointing out here the high time frame structures, then we'll go through the levels. For this scenario right over here, you have a few possibilities. If you finished your E wave also in a triangle, which is possible, right? This could actually be the low. And now we're going to take out 90.5K. The situation here, there's several ways on how this Y wave could develop. You could actually take out the highs. So you're starting off with your movement here to the upside in your A wave. You take out 90.5K region. There is still a lot of resistance. So I'm kind of interested of this zone to get a pullback. We got some liquidity up there, and we could actually get the rejection from this zone. I'm not a fan of seeing a successful breakout, like moving up to 95K from this zone. I do think that in between 90.5 and 92K is where the price is likely going to reject on the higher time frame, just because there is the bullish structure from this point as a wave 1, wave 2, you know, it just doesn't fit in nicely. Very, very three-wavy environment here in this range. So I'm not expecting a blast off here of $5,000 to take out 95K. I'm not expecting this. And there's a lot of resistance in between 90.5K and 92K, right? We can use Fibonacci from the pivot high to the pivot low. We got the golden pocket. We got the fair value gap here with all those lower highs, where it's actually where we do have that liquidity, okay, to the upside here. And there's no major bullish structure that points out to get that explosive breakout from here. So I do see this zone as a potential rejection point between 90.5K and 92K. Other levels that we do have here, of course, we do have the point of control of this range without counting the recent price action of the last week. Okay, we got that high volume node, which is sitting at 91.4K, which could also be a, you know, part of the critical sweep of the liquidity fair value gap zone, right, to get that rejection. And I'm looking at a, you know, significant pullback here, at least of a $2,000-$3,000 easily from the zone if we do reach it. So that's a zone where I'm interested in actually attempting another short position. For long positions, we're going to have to go a little bit with a flow. I mean, yesterday here, as the price was stopping, was it acceptable for shorts? For longs, you know, I have to say, you know, if you're looking to long the lows of the range and short the highs of the range, then, you know, eventually, yes, right? I would say that this zone is acceptable for shorts. This zone is acceptable for longs. So as we go with the flow of the range, at some point it's going to move up, right? At some point it's going to take out the lows. At some point it's going to take out the highs. We just need to be aware of that, of course, and manage risk accordingly based on our position size. So with that said, this WXY has a few ways on how it can move. Of course, this ends up being bearish. If you have a WXY being formed to the upside here, it's a bearish structure that you are looking potentially to take out the lows here, or at least continue a larger range. But with that movement that could happen, this Y wave, if this is the low, you can either form a zigzag move to the upside, very likely if it is a zigzag, to take out the highs of the range at 95K. So you got the zigzag up in W, the triangle in wave X, and then another zigzag. This turns out to be a double zigzag structure that takes out 95K. This would eventually take about a week or so to develop. And then the other one is literally forming a flat where you get the movement up, you take out 90.5K with the possibility of hitting 92K, and then you get the pullback down. to potentially take out the lows here and then move up like this in an ABC flat. Okay, ABC flat in your Y wave to then only just come down. So the range looks like it's likely going to continue here, regardless if you take out 90.5k or 95k or the lows. There's no big break up or no big breakdown structure that I have that has higher probability. Okay, so we're going to zoom in here on the lower time frame. Massive move to the upside. This is clearly likely a corrective structure that's happened to the downside. So the big buying pressure. We did get New York Open here. Let me just double check here. New York Open, because we did have a nice rally here, potentially stock market here getting a nice little pump on the open, little quick dump, and then back up here. Yeah, likely being corrective. We're getting a big recovery here right now after the drop of Bitcoin on New York Open. I am attempting this short position, likely going to get stopped out here. Let's see if it does take out the highs or not. But yeah, let's go through the comment section, see what the people are saying. If we do take out the highs, I do have a plan here at the range highs. If we do end up taking out 90.5k, that's the next major zone of liquidity with the golden pocket that I'm going to have to see if it does end up getting that swing failure pattern. So the golden pocket here is sitting where we have the 90.5k region. This is a very good area of liquidity. Good area of liquidity. We might reach that. We're just coming up now to that zone. So nice New York Open with the green candle on stocks and also on Bitcoin. So people are here in the comment section. Somebody was saying that Bitcoin is lagging behind from gold and from silver, and that we do expect it to absolutely have a massive breakthrough to the upside in the next coming weeks. Gold getting a bit of a rejection here in the last few days, end of the year here, bit of a rejection here, and the speculation is right now that gold is lagging, Bitcoin is lagging behind, and it's going to get an ultimate recovery here in the next coming days. Crazy shorting Ethereum pumping to 90.5k and back to around 87k, says here Demet Media. Smell you later, shorters. Legends Crypto by Matthias here, the absolute legend. Go and check him out, guys. He's got awesome content on his channel, Crypto by Matthias. Much love to you, brother. Mother of all squeezers coming to clean all those filthy highs on Ethereum. Yeah, I haven't checked out Ethereum, but Ethereum probably getting a little pump here as well as Bitcoin is. Yeah, Ethereum just moving up as well, cleaning up those recent highs of this little range that we formed. But yeah, we're going to focus mainly on Bitcoin here. So Green Hammer, Suzanne, hello, happy new year everyone, better late than ever. Suzanne, much love to you, thanks for joining the stream. What a pump we're getting right now. Green Hammer candle on the weekly chart. What are you waiting for? BTC to 200k soon. We're going to leave those moon targets away for the moment. We're still very much ranging. Can't stand moon, boys. Jacob, BTC has bottomed. We're still in the range. Come on, guys. We bears get excited of a drop Bulls get excited of a pump. We're still very much in the range. Come on, guys. These targets of going to extreme high levels are out of whack. Come on. We're still very much in the range. Pumping to 90.5k. Let me go through the comment section here with your legends. Andy, what do you think about Dogecoin? What would be a bit of a target in your view? We can take a look at Dogecoin later on as well. Okay, we can take a look at Dogecoin. In the last hour of the stream, we'll be focusing on a few altcoins. Okay, we'll do a little bit of TA on demand from the people that are here in the comment section. And for that, smash up the like button, guys. That you were met at the swingers room. What? Oh, okay. That's for somebody. Guys, come on. Be guys for the rest of with the rest of the people. Don't fight. It's insane because I do have half of the people watching that are bearish and half of the people that are bullish. And come on, guys. Be nice to people. It's just opinions. And much love. What's up? Much love to you. Be nice. Pac-Man, brother. Much love. Thanks for joining the stream, my main man, Andy. Pac-Man. Much love to you, brother. Show some love and smash up the like button. Okay, enough comment section. Much love. We'll take a look at Dogecoin later on. Pepe did a 45%. Are altcoins mooning? Are they seriously mooning? Let me know. We're going to check it. Pepe did 45% pump. Holy smokes. It did actually pump quite a bit. What happened to Pepe? Pepe's making the move here. Holy smokes. Pepe is actually pumped over 45% in the last 48 hours. Even less than that. Damn, that was a significant pump on Pepe. Big pump on Pepe. Obviously a bit of a short squeeze, right? Bit of a short squeeze situation. But man, that was a big pump. 95k. And half of the people are wrong. You could take poll to see who is bullish and who is bearish. Yeah, I mean, we did a poll the other day claiming what's going to happen first for Bitcoin, hit 95k or hit 80k. Let me just ask the people right away on a poll. Yeah, how are you feeling for January, guys? Bullish, bearish? Let me know right away on the poll, guys. How are you feeling for January, right? Is there going to be more upside momentum? Is there going to be more downside momentum? Let me know right away here on the poll, and we'll check here the opinion. BTC is the new stable coin. It is a little bit, but it will end up breaking out, of course, at some point. But it's still going to be rangy, in my opinion. No major moves to 70, 60k, or no moves to 100 to 110k. What about the range? Bullish in Jan, then bearish. We could go to 91k, then 76k, then even 67k. But then after that, glory. Yeah, still very rangy. We're still downtrending. Light volume, make pump everything. Yeah. Let's go right away and see here a little bit what's going on, because we did just squeeze up here. A little bit of an internal SFP of the highs. A little bit of an internal SFP of the highs. It got wicked out on that position. Still acceptable. I mean, best entry here. Best entry would have been that local double top. Local double top here would have been acceptable. That was when we were doing the higher time frame analysis on the 4 hourly, which is a quick boom, right? Still in the range though. I mean, this could be just a cheeky squeeze that we had on New York Open, because we did get some volatility here on New York Open. Just a quick move down, move up. It was a little bit more aggressive on Bitcoin. But yeah, today's structure is still very much to the upside, right? In the last 24 hours, even more than that since the new year. Still momentum is to the upside. So a little bit in doubt of this right now, this movement here. Seems like a pretty strong little pump. Yeah, it seems like it wants to go higher. This movement down shouldn't have failed. It shouldn't have failed. It should have got a little bit of more momentum. Buyers stepped in here very aggressively. We do have a lot of bullish CVD divergence that have been developing throughout the last 24 hours. So the bullish divergence have been pretty crazy. I'm not sure what happened here, but on Bybit, we got lots of shorters entering the market. Lots of shorters entering the market here on this momentum here just a few hours ago. So we can see just shorts piling in, millions of shorts. You can see all red here on the delta. Lots of shorts entering as the local structure was bullish. So, and this is what it created on the yellow, which is Bybit. Yeah, just also on BTC, US dollar tether on Bybit, we can see how we had that movement down. Insane amount of shorts entering here, which are getting squeezed out, right? If you're shorting, you want to short at, at higher levels, not short as the price moves down, because this is what happens, right? This is what happens. I would want to be positioned already, which I was, on this movement down, and just exited the scenario, the trade. Lots of shorts entering the market right now, which is eventually really building up that possibility of actually getting above 90.5k. I have to say, with this momentum and these new shorts entering on Bybit US dollar tether, on Bybit, okay, just look at these shorts. Look at the yellow here. There's so many shorts entering the market. As the structure was bullish locally, the shorts here in the yellow, as you can see, entering on Bybit was absolutely insanity. So big lower lows on CVD, higher lows on the market structure, ending up just to go higher and higher. And with this small little movement down, huge amount of shorts entering here on Bybit US dollar tether, which are getting squeezed out right now with this local pump. So with so many shorts entering the market, I'm not a fan right now. Eventually at this zone, with so many shorts entering the market, I would say that it becomes a risky zone. I mean, these local shorts have been getting squeezed out, I would say most of them. Big little squeeze here, all of those shorts entering here on Bybit US dollar tether pair. I would say that most of them have got squeezed out with this move up. So could it still reject from this zone? We're currently just forming a back test of the SFP level. Just tapped, almost tapped, just missed it by a few dollars. Still in the range, we are at the top of the range. It's just gonna pop out at some point. I'm so aware of the price taking out the lows, or taking out the highs very soon, right? It could be today, as we are just testing the highs, but just as the same as the last few days, right? As you can see, in this range that we've been in the last 2 weeks, we actually missed out in hitting the lows by a few $100s, and same scenario is happening here. So, you know, is it going to claim those highs at 90.5k, which for me is not it's a reasonable stop area. It's a reasonable area for stop loss, because it's the same as here, right? If you're attempting a long trade, stop loss at the lows of the range, stop loss at the lows of the range, stop loss at the highs of the range. Not a bad attempt. Not a bad attempt. Of course, that back test or that local SFP of the highs would have been the best entry. Would have been the best entry here, but I have to say, you know, we're still ranging. I know the bears, when we were close to the lows, such as myself as well, saying we're going to claim the lows, we're going to claim the lows, and now the bulls very much happy on this is gonna be it, right? This is the pump that finally tests the highs, right? So the overall question right now that I should have done on the poll: do we finally test the highs of the range, okay? Or do we test the lows? Well, obviously test the lows of the range, right? Despite that we are here, up here. And this is what you need to leave me in the comment section right now, guys. Right? Do we end up taking out 86.4k, or now that we are so close, do we end up taking out 90.5k? And as mentioned, you know, you can always attempt the short or the long at the highs or the lows of the range, right? Till it actually takes the low or takes the high, which eventually you need to get out of the market, right? It's not in your interest, just in case you get a larger volatile move to the upside. You don't want to be exposed, right? If it ends up breaking out. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, guys. It's still very much rangy. Still very much could form a lower high in the range and come back down to the low area of the range. Quick local double top here, which is always acceptable. This is just squeezing out the shorts before it actually, you know, this is a very, very common price action before it actually rolls over, because what the market is doing, it doesn't want people to participate on the shorts, right? And it likes to wick them out before rolling over, if that is going to be the case. But with, you know, what is the best practice here to look to enter that short is getting into the local wicks, local double tops, if they do happen, which it kind of did happen here. You know, this is the only best way, because these wicks are very, very common to be, you know, wick the people that are trying to short the market, right? And it does create that kind of behavior, right? Where this is why double, triple tops, double, triple bottoms are very, very common before getting a reversal, right? Because they want to get you out of the market before they take the decision move. But the only good thing here is to really kind of sniper these double tops and just have good risk management, right? If you did enter that scenario, you know, lower your stop. The moment that happens then is the one that's gonna pay off. So anyway, let's just go through the comment section and see the opinion here of the people, because it's been pretty interesting with the bulls and bears throughout the last 2 weeks, because, you know, everybody's stuck in this range. Everybody's stuck in the range. If you also look at the chart of Dogecoin, you can see that it stays stronger against BTC, I think, on my screen, Andy. We can take a look at that. Andy, 100K on the way, no short for me. 100K on the way. No, not the time for shorts. These are internal longs and shorts, okay? These are more day trading scenarios. In this zone of the last 2 weeks, you know, you could have short and longed many times, okay? With it, we can short and long in this zone, right? We're not talking about the bigger moves here that happen, right? We're talking more of day trading scenarios, movements of $2,000, maybe $3,000. But yeah, the fact that 100K is coming soon, what is soon for you? Because soon would be maybe by next week or so. But I strongly believe that this is not going to happen in less than a week to get to 100K. So what is soon, right? Is it in a couple of months? I would say, yeah, maybe 100K in a couple of months. Still very rangy. There's no proper bullish. There is a bullish structure, but it just has a lower probability for this to be a wave 1, wave 2. And, you know, from here, wave 1, and this is a wave 2 right there. It's very messy, very corrective, which automatically suggests that this is no wave 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to break out in a wave 3 here, then 4, 5, 4, 5. This price action does not suggest that. It suggests that we are in a much larger complex range. So I don't see any significant breakout to 100K in the next, week, 2 weeks. I just don't see that happening. Could we test above 94.5K high of the range? Absolutely, but I would expect the price not to break through aggressively, and I would be interested in shorts really here, but internal shorts. I mean, nothing, not like a swing short, but yeah, no major bullish structure from this pivot low and the last pivot higher low that is being developed here, which is eventually making me understand that this range is going to likely continue. It's just likely going to continue. So it's a little bit boring for the people that are very bearish or very bullish, because it's just unlike, we were talking about this range to continue ever since 2 weeks ago. We were like, guys, it's just we are likely not going to get any big movement here to the either downside or upside. There's just no. This doesn't look like a proper bearish impulse. Contracting diagonal, low probability. If that were to be the case, then you would have to see this as a wave 1, this a wave 2, this a wave 1, this a wave 2. This is likely some kind of a large correction, and this is why we combine it in triangles, right? Triangle here, which would be this one. That would be one of them, where your E wave could also be a triangle. This is the bullish case scenario, right? You got another squeezed triangle in your E wave, A, B, C, D, E, which still doesn't bring you a massive move up. It brings you the Y wave, which could either be a flat and then down, or it could be a zigzag. It actually takes out 95K and then it rolls over. No big movements here. The big movements up above 100K just have a low probability at the moment. This would be the local internal bullish scenario that takes out 90.5K with the potential of taking out 95K, because you have that zigzag move up, double zigzag in W, wave X in triangle, and another zigzag to the upside here in your wave Y that would likely take out 95K. But I would say that we're not going to go much higher than 96, maybe 97. We're going to have to see anyway how this develops, because there will be longs, interesting longs to be taken. Hang on a minute. Yeah, let me just clear this up. So yeah, this is still very much, also a possibility. Triangle in your B wave. So the bullish, bearish case scenario, zigzag up, movement down, triangle in B wave, movement down here. Still worth shorting the highs of the range, still worth shorting, longing the lows of the range as well. Okay. So yeah, this double top, local double top acceptable. Dump, pump, and back down here on the stock market, which is bringing that local volatility here on the price of Bitcoin. Yeah, this was, I mean, it was a fast decision for that double top here. Fast decision for that double top locally. Okay, well, I have to say that was an acceptable double top right there. What can we say? What can we say? Currently down at the VWAP. VWAP didn't do anything on New York Open. Just on New York Open, we got the drop. VWAP not doing. We're back testing the VWAP at the moment. VWAP could be an interesting one here. The problem is when we, when we've been pumping throughout the last 24 hours and even slightly more than that to the upside, is this a zone to be very, very bullish? VWAP tap. I mean, VWAP is holding right now. It is holding. It could be a little attempt. Could be a little attempt here. Golden pocket VWAP. It is trying to hold. The only problem here with this is the higher time frame, where on the 1 hourly, when we do take a look at this range, we're literally at the top of the range, and we know what's happened when we get close to the bottom of the range, when we get close to the top of the range. It's not an ultimate zone to be extremely bullish, that's for sure. Could VWAP hold? If you lose the VWAP, then eventually we'll, could be looking for the lows of the range to be hit. But VWAP is kind of holding. Would I treat this? I prefer the scalp short, but I would say a scalp long here at the VWAP is kind of acceptable. Okay, VWAP is holding, back testing. Scalp double top short and scalp long here or at the VWAP is acceptable. Acceptable, bouncing at the VWAP at the moment. So VWAP with the golden pocket from that wick low. It is holding, so it is. I wouldn't put stop loss too extremely far away. Just below the 7.8 would be enough. I would treat this with the potential of hitting the highs and maybe going higher. Let's take a look at CVD. For the moment, that VWAP and that golden pocket locally is holding. It wants to hold. It is doing its best. Little bounces of a few $100s. Back down now. Yeah, not wanting. It did have an attempt, but only way here is local double bottoms, I have to say. been holding for the last 10 minutes. Nice support here at the VWAP and the golden pocket. It is getting supported. I would say at least a move up to sweep up these lower highs, just as a scalp, with the potential of coming back up to test the highs if that is the case here, as the market is in bullish momentum here throughout the days. Bit of local volatility, a little bit crazy with this dump, pump, and now dump again. Just need to go with the local levels of support. It's wanting to hold. Let's take a look at CVD here. Oh, yeah, we got a bit of local bearish CVD divergence on Bybit. Yeah, it's not wanting to hold. A local double bottom is going to be another possible attempt here. If you don't double bottom locally, sweeping up these lows right over here. So either bounces from here or sweeps up the lows and bounce. Let's see if it wants to. Let's see if it wants to. We're going to give it a chance. Trying to hold the VWAP, trying to hold the golden pocket of this recent move up. Local bounce here is very much possible. Local double bottom here. Yeah, let's see if it wants to bounce. See if it does get a chance. I think there's a sensible target zone would be sweeping up these lower highs right there. Come on, should be seeing some buying pressure here kicking in right now. If it doesn't, it's not going to be looking good. Yeah, doesn't want to bounce. Yeah, not bouncing. Not bouncing, so failed attempt in bouncing. Looked like it wanted to bounce, but it is trading under the VWAP right now, which is not ideal. A little bit below the VWAP is okay, but yeah, failing to do so. Failing to do so here, so yeah. Did hold for a bit. But yeah, currently trading beneath the VWAP, beneath the golden pocket. So yeah, not worth a long here. Has lost the level. Best attempt was this for the short. I have to say, not worth shorting down here. Best attempt for the short on the higher time frame was that SFP of the local highs. Was kind of acceptable here to look for the for that short entry. Longs are not looking that interesting at the moment, at least for me. This is the situation that you are at the highs of the range, do we end up climbing up to break out those highs of the range today? We missed out on the lows of the range. Are we going to miss out of the highs of the range again? For the moment, it is struggling. But yeah, the problem of trying any longs at this point, at the top of the range, it's like trying to long here on these pullbacks or trying to short here on the pullbacks down, right? We've had a major rally in the last 24, 48 hours. Trying to attempt longs here is a little late, and shorting the highs of the range makes more sense eventually to get that pullback down to the lows of the range. Okay, VWAP was okay attempt, but VWAP was lost with a golden pocket, so I ain't gonna go crazy here with trying to long here this top of the range. It makes more sense to look for shorts to potentially come down to the lows of the range. VWAP failed, so if VWAP didn't hold, what do we have left here? Well, I do see, obviously, with that failed attempt to test the highs of Monday. Obviously, it is an attractive zone to look for the short here at the 78.88 Fibonacci. We did hit the 0.88. We did double top here, very quick wick to the upside, local double top. And I would, instead of a scalp, I would treat this double top as a day trade short instead of a scalp, with the potential of coming to the low of the range here. Just because as we've seen this rally develop in the last 24 to 48 hours, jumping into longs on these pullback, is challenging. Is without a doubt challenging. Currently getting supported here at this base. Let's see what stock market ended up dumping. Oh my goodness. Stock market with the dump here. Stock market dump, pump, sweep up the highs, and stock market did decide to go to the downside to test the lows of Wednesday. Currently getting a reaction down there. Bitcoin not deciding to move down, ending up with this bounce here with the top of these candlesticks on the 5-minute. VWAP now acting at resistance. Not a zone that I would be interested in shorting. If you did not short this local double top, you'd rather want to attempt some longs on a higher low here. But yeah, short should have been taken at the SFP local double top. If anything, you could attempt possible longs just in case the price does end up recovering here. No short should be taken down here. Yeah, let me know in the comment section, anybody that catch the short position. A bit challenging here for longs with Fibonacci, I have to say. I mean, we did move up with some significant volume. Stock market ended up coming down to the lows, so swept up the highs of Wednesday. I mean, I'm not trading the stock market, but if I would have been trading the stock market, SFP basically of the highs of the range, and Bitcoin, unfortunately, is not giving that easy short entry. It didn't give that easy short entry because we didn't create a proper SFP, unfortunately. From any of these pivots, we did get above these highs, and local double top here would have been the best attempt for the short, with the possibility of coming down to the lows of the range, right? Not even sweeping up the lows anymore, because Bitcoin is literally forming slightly higher lows and slightly lower highs in the last 2 weeks. So it's still getting squeezed. The scenario is right now that it's going to end up breaking very, very soon, right? I just realized that this triangle is coming to its end stages, regardless if this is the low or this is the lower high. There's two types of triangles here. There is the bearish one, which this is the lower high, and it ends up rolling down to the low and even lower. Or it's the bullish one and ends up breaking up. So it is coming to its end stages. This is for sure, right? This range is coming to its end stages, and we want to be really defensive if we are shorting the highs of the range, or if we are longing the lows of the range. We just need to be very, very defensive and try and enter at the highest level possible. This is why shorting here, the best option would have been this local double top just after New York Open, just to give you the best entry possible on managing risk. That would have been the best option to sniper trade an SFB locally here. So it's the same price it was 2 days ago, says CMRP. It's actually the same price it was 2 weeks ago. We've been ranging here, so it's like really trying to just get into some local scalps. Local scalps here, basically. Of course, today's market structure is bullish, but with this volatility, you know, this is, for me, not a zone that I want to participate in longs. When you create this kind of price action, right? If you didn't long the local bullish market structure, long in here this mess, if you want to believe that this is going to be a higher low, then yes, a long on this retracement, even though we are below VWAP, kind of makes okay sense for the bullish case, which is, you know, stock market is holding that low. So stock market here could be forming a double bottom, sweep up, you know, swept the local highs of Wednesday. Bitcoin did not get too affected by this movement down. If stock market now gets a decent recovery throughout the next coming hours with this double bottom, it could affect the price of Bitcoin to the upside. In my opinion, I still think that stock market does have some significant correlation against Bitcoin. So with this drop not being so aggressive on Bitcoin, and now the stock market is at the lows, and obviously this is the zone where it could get that double bottom bounce. I think that double bottom bounce could affect the price of Bitcoin to the upside eventually, when we are, you know, we always consider stock market local movements for the price of Bitcoin. So price getting a okay bounce here on the lower time frame, back testing that little lower high that we had, 7-8 Fibonacci from the movement to the downside. Not too convinced about this bounce, maybe taking out the highs or not. If stock market gets a pretty nice bounce from this double bottom, sweeping up the lows of last Wednesday, it is double bottoming here. I don't have, I mean, oh yeah, on Bluffin they do have stock market available actually. The S&P 500 is available on Bluffin. Yeah, SPX, it is available on Bluffin actually, the stock market. we're getting a nice little bounce here on the stock market, on the double bottom. Could have been nice. Probably going to start trading stock market as well, guys. Just because it is available on Bluffin. Bluffin is one of the greatest out there, guys. You can trade stock market, gold on Bluffin. You got a great deal down below, guys. Check it out. You got a great bonus of $1,000. If you deposit $7,000, you're getting $1,000 on top of that to increase your trading capital. If you deposit $1,000, you're getting $200 on top of that, guys. Take advantage on that with the link down below, okay, for Bluffin. So Bitcoin is getting a nice little bounce in the end here, with stock market forming that internal double bottom here at 6,890 points. Now this is the kind of bounce that I'm going to be like, is it going to back test? Is it going to back test the SFP level? It's going to be coming up to the golden pocket now. Let's go right away through the comment section. What's your outlook regarding BTC for 2026? Do you believe in the 4-year cycle theory? I do believe in the 4-year cycle theory, but I also believe it is, you know, it's different times. You know, Bitcoin did hit all-time high in the halving year, just before the halving. So that was different from the previous cycles. So without a doubt, there is some different movements on Bitcoin. Yeah, index. Well, the S&P 500, my man. Yeah, basically, I do call the S&P 500 as stock market, right? The 500 top stocks. But yeah, indexes. That is completely correct. The moment Warren Buffett sold billions but claimed he isn't saying the market is going down, then you know he means the end game is on. Warren Buffett has stepped down as CEO. Warren Buffett has stepped down as CEO on Berkshire Hathaway, which is his fund company. So he's out, right? He stepped down as CEO. But man, this guy, I'm not sure what his age is. He's definitely over 80, I would say. You've been a huge help in my trading in 2025. Thank you for everything. Excited to trade with you this year. Steel and Stone, much love to you, I have to say. This range has been a little bit complex. We have too many scenarios. I have to say, I don't have an extreme high probability scenario right now. I just have been looking more into trade the range, and just being aware that this range is going to pop out at some point. You know, we are looking for a pop out to either sweep up 90.5k or sweep up 86.4k, right? So if we are shorting the highs of the range or getting into any local pullbacks, if we're longing this pullback right now, I have to say, you know, be aware, you know, take some profits, right? It's just like trying to short this movement here, this little bounce, right? When you got a big move down and you're getting into the bounce to really get that continuation down, you just need to be very, very defensive. If you're trying to short these little pullbacks that we're getting here right now, to maybe test the highs again, you know, which I say is acceptable. You know, the market is very much uptrending in the last 24 to 48 hours. The momentum is bullish. You just need to be aware that we have been pumping and we're still stuck in the range, right? We're basically at the highs of the range over the last 2 weeks. And, you know, we don't know if the price is going to break out at this point or test above 90.5k. So if you're longing these pullbacks of today's uptrend, just be defensive, right? It's because we could definitely come down to the lows of the range, and maybe this is the one that actually tests the lows of the range, right? Just be defensive. This is what we try to teach here, right? Be defensive on the direction. So let's go right away. Continue through the comment section. As explained, guys, this is just what can we say? What can we say? It's not being an easy zone to predict the highest probability movement with this information, right? I'm a fan of saying all the time, with the information that we get, we're gonna know what has higher probability to move, right? Which we do very, very well. But when we get stuck in a range and we have multiple scenarios, eventually the bullish one being this one, which E wave could be in here in a triangle, which is disturbing because it's a triangle E wave inside of a larger triangle inside of the ABCDE, and this could be the low that takes out 90.5k. And then of course on the Y wave we got a flat structure, or we have a zigzag that takes out 95k. So yeah, we just want to be aware that this could be the low, and we take out 90.5k. Bullish structure is in the last 24 to 48 hours. If you are trying to long these pullbacks at local levels of support, just be defensive right now. If you did get into that short position or the long position, this is probably going to get be a stop loss. This is going to be a stop loss at close to break even. I would still give it a chance for a possible back test. Would still give it a chance for a back test here after this SFP. Let's see what S&P 500 for the moment is double bottom successfully, successful double bottom here from the lows of the 31st of December. Little nice bounce here. Anybody that is trading indexes here, the S&P 500, little 0.25% bounce. Very, very acceptable entry. Stop loss at the low. Already a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Nice little move up here on the S&P 500 after testing those lows, which is giving that power for Bitcoin, trying to give that power to move up. Do we take out the highs, guys? Let me know in the comment section. Do we take out 90.5k finally today, or do we form a lower high? Let me take a look at the poll here in the comment section. But yeah, a little bit of a scalping here, the range at the moment. Possible back test, failure point. Possible back test, failure point. Not an easy long here, I have to say. Was this not an easy decision long? We did break out the VWAP. We came down to the 7.8 in the end, getting this local support acceptable. We are uptrending, mainly acceptable because of the stock market as well. The drop that we got created here on Bitcoin was also on the stock market, and stock market was all the S&P 500, right, testing the lows of Wednesday. This could bring power for Bitcoin, right? This bounce could bring power for Bitcoin locally, and this is why based on the S&P 500, which there's still some direct correlation, guys. Could bring that bounce for Bitcoin here locally, which it is at the moment, right? So kind of trying along a higher low here at support, golden pocket, 7/8 Fibonacci is kind of acceptable. Purely based on stock market as well, S&P 500 getting that double bottom here. Lower high then next week will be the real deal, says Beatriz Espeño. Much love to you, Beatriz. It's uncanny how often my stops get hit within just a few dollars and my TPs missed by just a few as well. That is also very, very common, I have to say. It is very, very common as well. I get stopped out at break even a lot of the times, and then the price leaves without me. But I prefer to be defensive, guys, right? I actually prefer to be defensive. And this is things that happen, right? Things that happen where the price just, stops you out. I mean, luckily from the short, that I had from last Tuesday, stop was still at the highs here. And the price ended up moving down. And then stopped out at a very, very small profit on the movement up, just because this ended up being bullish. But it happens a lot, right? It does happen a lot. Stop loss gets hit by a few dollars. It's just like this looking for this to reject. I would say that obviously the market is locally bullish, right? It is locally building up, and you just get so close to hit the highs of the range that you kind of expect the highs to be hit, right? I mean, especially at this point when this range has been extended so much, and there is a reason to believe if this is not the low from an internal triangle that we have here for the E wave, right? A, B, C, D, E. Which would be a triangle more like this, basically from the last lower high, the last right over here, so A, B, C, D, E, to then actually get to move above 90.5k, or the other scenario, which is literally the bearish triangle, which is this one, which you cannot take out this lower high. So from this low that you have here, you have the A, B, C, D, E, and it ends up not taking out that 90.3k high of last Monday, and ends up rolling down right in the next coming hours. So difficult zone at the moment. Very, very difficult. I'm just so aware that of the highs being taken already. And if we come back down to the lows, I would not be interested in longing at this point, because it's going to test the lows or the highs and maybe get a little breakout of maybe $1,000 or so, or 1,500. Just so much aware of this range. Trading the range is fun till you're actually very much aware that you need to be extremely defensive. And realize that the breakout could happen at any point. So even still with these volatile pullbacks, I'm saying it's kind of acceptable to look for a long as well on this pullback after getting a double top, because even though we form that double top, yes, pump up, correction down, little bit of local support right there on these candlesticks, attempting along in this zone with the S&P 500 testing a major low already. It's like, yeah, if S&P 500 bounces, you're probably going to form a higher low here and bounce on Bitcoin. So I really like to take a look at the S&P 500 to really see if it is worth taking that long position at a local support level. Because if the stock market's formed a, you know, testing a major low and it can double bottom, this bounce is going to give a little bit of power for Bitcoin, that's for sure. Which it is, right? It kind of is getting a little bit of that power to move up. Anyway, do we test the highs? I have to say, this is yeah, if the price didn't roll over, this has to be a break-even trade, guys. Anybody that attempted the short, yes, it could back test, but these are the kind of back tests that I do not like too much. I would rather get stopped out at break-even if you attempted this short. Cheeky back test. Stock market, unless stock market gets a major dump from here after testing those lows, which is kind of is, it's rolling back down, which can create that back test on Bitcoin. Cheeky back test here. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Do you think that we do get up here to 90.5k plus at the top of the range? Does it end up taking out the highs of the range already, guys, today in the next coming minutes? Or do we end up rolling over, getting that cheeky back test of that local SFP and roll over? It's like decision zone. S&P 500 rolling over down here. Stop loss saves the game. I'm not keen on this back test. Not keen on this back test, but this is where it gets wiki. It gets wiki, and then it rolls over, right? So, I mean, risk management is still good here. Would I consider this back test for the shorts? I mean, obviously, you got the double top, you move down, you come back up. These back tests do happen a lot, right? We have many examples of this back test of an SFP. We did get one here just last week. This was on Tuesday and Wednesday, 23rd and 24th, where we did get a local double bottom, and we also got a back test here on this pivot, right? So we did SFP and we got the back test, and then we left, right? So anybody that entered the SFP and protected position maybe got stopped out at break even, and then the price left. Many examples of this. We had one right over here also at $94,000, even though I was in favor of the short on a lower high when we had this price action. This is when we had FOMC minutes. You had the SFP of the highs, right? You did swing failure pattern. Anybody that's shorting in this zone, eventually the natural effect is to protect position, right? You don't want to turn that into a losing trade. If you've been taking a bit of profits here, you don't want to turn that into a losing trade already. Price comes up, back tests the SFP level, right? It's, you know, you're still managing risk. You know, whoever got into that back test, we were in favor here of a lower high. I did get quite a lot of people messaging the day after that they're in the short, and this is a day where we had news, which I think we had FOMC press conference and a lot of different news coming out here in the zone. So, you know, SFP and backtest is actually not a bad entry zone. You know, it's not just because the risk management is good, you would be aiming for the lows of the range. So if you entered somewhere here on the back test, you know, it's a difficult one, because you really think that it's just going to pop out, right? You just really think that, hey, it's just going to pop out already, right? But you would be at least targeting the lows of the range. And, you know, if you do have a little bit open, just, you know, start closing as you do go down. But I would say at least to the lows of the range. Another cheeky backtest that we got here on Bitcoin was on the $116,000. I mean, this was cheeky. I missed out on this short. I did not get into this short. But it would have been acceptable. I mean, this, I'm not sure when this happened, but what time it was. But you got the SFP of this lower high of October, right? So you did create the swing failure pattern, but then you came back up to backtest the level. And I mean, this one, we never came back, right? For people that are swing trading, if you entered that short backtest of the SFP, you know, I would realistically, let's stay real here. You're targeting the lows of the range. We ain't gonna do, well, look at this trade, right? Because most of the people are not gonna hold on, right? And you're gonna need to scratch some profits on the way down. But yeah, ultimately, you know, we never came back from that backtest. And when we do see the price action now, it's just another local backtest that, you know, it just gives you a possible entry and good risk management. I mean, this would already be a 1-to-1. It just gives you the potential. You know, this is already at 1-to-1. So can it be a 4 or 5-to-1, come down to the lows of the range? Well, this, you know, this would be your projection. You know, would this backtest be successful or not? That is the main question. Well, you know, overall, you can attempt this. Good risk management. This is already covering a 1-to-1. So, you know, these backtests do happen a lot on SFPs. And I do consider this zone still a possibility that you know, it could be bearish, right? You know, it could definitely be a lower high. It could be a lower high of the triangle. But I just understand that it's at some point, either the lows or these highs at this current moment, it's gonna pop out, right? So you just need to maintain risk here, because it's either going to be this one tonight, right, or later on tomorrow if we do get a pullback and a higher low. Just like here, you know, if you're long in here, you just need to be aware that you want to have good entries, good risk management, and just be aware that you could be taking out those lows here. But interesting to see what the people say. I'm going to create another poll here. But yeah, we are at the top of the range. We could definitely form a lower high here. It is still very much on the cards. If you formed a higher low here, why not form a lower high here? Continue the range. You just need to be aware that it's gonna pop out at some point, right? It's gonna pop out at some point. So trade safely, trade accordingly. And I'm gonna ask the people, what do they think about Bitcoin breaking up or breaking down, guys? What is your take on Bitcoin? Do we test? I'm actually going to create a poll here right now. I did create this poll, how are you feeling for January, guys? 62% are bullish. 62% are bullish, feeling bullish for January. 38% are feeling bearish. Interesting. We've got a little bit more bullish sentiment for January here with the community, with the people. We've got over 500 votes. Breakdown short term. Keep in mind the past 2 weeks were holiday volume. Now we get back to normal volume, which means Bitcoin is going up. That means that Bitcoin is going to go up, right? Regardless, and not down. No trade, more safety before break. No trade, safety before break. Yeah. That one was my best trade of 2025. Big short at 115.2k. Congratulations. Very, very good indeed. I actually missed out that short. I did not get into that short. This one, yes. This one, yes. Did manage to catch this one. Backtest SFP. Was very much in favor of a lower high here, regardless about the news. But this one I did not get in. But yeah, congrats. Very, very good short indeed. So who knows? You know, this is the thing, right? What if this turns out to be, this could be the lower high of this triangle. I'm not going to say we go down to 70k, but could definitely sweep up the lows of the range and maybe form a three-wave structure here for that flat target. You just you know, I have to say, when you have a few scenarios, you understand where the trade could be. You just don't know if it is going to be the one that plays out, because for this ABC movement down, which is literally, you know, you got the three-wave move up in your A wave, leg down, and now this triangle, which has 5 legs, you know, I could easily say this has the potential to be the last lower high before we take out these lows, and maybe 84k as well, and even obviously going lower. It has the potential, right? So squeezing in here, local double top, a lower high still, you know, managing risk accordingly, back test of the SFP. You know, your stop loss looks extremely small, so it's worth the attempt, right? Because when you zoom out, obviously you would want to attempt to take some profits at the lows of the range, but just be extremely defensive. But your stop loss looks kind of like this, right? You can't even see your stop loss when you're zooming out. It has the potential. You don't need to risk too much. You can have very, very good entries as the back test. Be defensive. If that back test is tested again, you want to get out, right? If we come back up to test that back test high, you know, I'm not going to be banging my head for the reversal, just because sometimes the market likes to leave you out, right? The market wants to wick you out before making that decision of breaking down, right? Or getting into a bigger move down. It likes to eliminate you. It wants to eliminate you of the short. And this is why these kind of back tests are lucrative to attempt the entry. You know, you can attempt the entry, stop loss. I would put it close to break even at this point. If we do get that movement back up from here, you know, it's like, okay, you know, I'd rather get in at a small fee loss, maintain a long if you do have a long open from here, just to pay the fees and take profits eventually as you do take out that high. But yeah, these back tests are always give you you know, the main reason why this back test and this local double top is acceptable is because of this. When I do zoom out, I realize there is a triangle pattern here that could be the top on an E wave. And this is why a lower high here, which is, you know, it's very, very common as well on an E wave to overshoot, right? And attempt the break of the lower high resistance. It is actually common to see that. It has the potential to be the lower high. It has the potential to be the last lower high. This is why, looking for the back test, looking for internal double tops for entries, unless you need to be quite snipey here. But yeah, this for sure does have the potential of being the lower high, and then, actually taking down the lows. I mean, regardless if you like it or not, it's just a possibility, right, of the pattern. This is why this zone is acceptable. Local double top, local back test of the SFP. The market likes to wick people out. It likes to make it hard and difficult for you to decide if you want to get into that short, because it's going to be looking bullish and bullish and bullish. And you local double top back test, right? And then it goes, right? It's just market wants you out, not participating on the move. So before the reversal, it can be a little bit challenging, right? So, but yeah, I would say that obviously, I'm not here to really say this is the highest probability at the moment, because I don't have that. I realize where that there is a acceptable entry zones. This has the potential of being the last lower high before these lows are claimed. It has the potential. I know how to enter. I know how to manage risk. I know the possible projection. Stop losses at this point are almost invisible. So you make sure to scale in properly based on the percentage if you're getting into this zone. But the projection here is very, very real. About this being the last lower high before taking out the lows of the range. I have to say the projection is there. The projection is there based on Elliott wave theory and based on lower highs. And then obviously, just being aware that maybe the bullish triangle is the one that is actually, going to play out, which is an internal E wave in a triangle here. We have A, B, C, D, E. I would say that even still the bullish one could play out of this being the D wave, and you have another E wave here. I mean, it's just really overextending this range. This range could definitely, extend. This could be the lower high and this the higher low of the triangle. And even still, you could come down to form another higher low. And the E wave extends to here of the triangle. It kind of sounds nuts, but it also has the potential of this being the low. And finally taking out the highs, right? We're really squeezing in this range, and we're just really looking to take out highs or take out lows at some point in the coming days. Not expecting a huge blast off breakout, but yes, expecting to eventually take out the highs of this mini range or the lows of the mini range here. So any range traders, you need to be very, very selective on your entries. Very, very selective, very, very good with risk management, because it will end up taking out the lows already, right? This range ain't going to go forever, right? This range ain't going to go for the entire month of January as well. It's gonna pop out very, very soon, in my opinion. We're just running out of room. We are squeezing lower highs, higher lows. You could fit in one more higher low and one more lower high, but this D wave could extend here, and this E wave could extend here without a doubt. So this could still squeeze in for a little bit longer, one or two more days. But just ranges are nice to trade, But when they overextend, without a doubt, when they overextend, it just becomes not that interesting to trade anymore. When they do overextend, it just doesn't become that interesting anymore. It does, well, it becomes interesting. It just becomes, you need to have better risk management, right? You just need to have better risk management. Crypto Gardeners, much love. Ranges are just like rules. They are made to be broken. Very true, my man. Very, very true. Mariela, much love. What's up, legends? Late for the classroom, but liked, smashed. Much love, Mariela. Let's do a like recount here, guys. Guys, stay tuned. I will be letting you know on the live streams that in the next coming days, we are basically making a fusion of all the products that we've got. The VIP, the Legends Pro community, it's all going to be fusioned into one, and it will be only one product out, okay? And I'll be letting you know about this product in the next coming days. It will be announced. The Telegram will be down below, so you can reach out to me, and you will be getting a bonus if you sign up with the link down below to either Bluffing Guys, or you have other exchanges such as Weeks. Bluffing has the $1,000 deposit bonus, which if you deposit 7K, you're getting $1,000 on top of your trading account. You got BTCC, Bybit, whichever one you want, and you'll be getting a bonus in the next coming days. I will be leaving my Telegram very, very soon, okay, for the new product, which eventually does include setups, right? People want to get into the setups that are given. Mariela, much love to you. Just wish we'd pick a direction already. Been ranging sideways for weeks. Very true. Me too. Me too. It is getting a little bit boring. It is, you know, we need to scalp the range. We need to scalp the range. That is for sure. Day trade the range. But it's getting a little bit boring. You know, I am having a lot of doubts on either taking out the highs or taking out the lows at this point. You know, it's just, there's too many scenarios getting being possible at this moment, right? When you have a long range, it's gonna pop out at some point eventually, right? At some point it's gonna pop out either up or down. The confusion about the range is that you have corrective structures up, corrective structures down, right? And you don't have any major direction. And obviously when you have the triangles, you have another squeezed triangle in here, potentially in that E wave, which this could be the low, right? We're going to leave that in here because there's very much a possibility that you have had a triangle inside of this triangle, and that's like, what the hell, what's this, right? What do you mean a triangle inside of a triangle? For your E wave, and then eventually the bearish scenario right over here, which you would have to form a lower high from the C wave. You know, it's getting challenging at this moment, this range. Getting challenging. I am more interested in movements of a few $1,000s than actually, you know, $500. You know, I'm not interested in the small movements, mainly myself. Not interested in scalping the 1 minute time frame. If I'm attempting the short here at the back test of this SFP, I'm not here for this move down. You know, I'm here for the bigger move down. You know, I'm not here for a little move of, you know, $300. Will we take out the highs? I'm going to create a new poll here. Acceptable long. You know, golden pocket 7-8. this is like to see which trade is gonna play out. Do we take out the highs here again finally? You know, the momentum is bullish despite this happening here. Three-wave structure, move up. For the moment, this movement down should have rolled over successfully from this point already. If it does not roll over from the back test, it's not good. Not good. You know, if we do get an SFP, I want to see an impulsive move down, which, you know, you could argue, discuss. This is the 1 minute, so we ain't going to go down that rabbit hole. This could be whatever. You know, 1 minute becomes very, very complex with Elliott wave theory. It could be very noisy. But if this were to be bearish in an impulse, and this is the bounce coming up to back test the level with a 7-8, if you did not roll over with this movement down, this is losing its chances. So yeah, I would potentially be out of that backtest trade, guys, if it is gonna try and take out these highs, because this has, you know, probabilities are decreasing for the rollover. When you backtest the level on an SFP, you don't want to fuck around. You want to go. You form the local SFP, at most you backtest it, and then you go. The moment you start dancing around, still maintaining the momentum to the upside, it's just probably going to pop. So, you know, just need to understand that there's only so many attempts that you can get in here, and understanding the probabilities, right? When we do take a look at the SFP that was formed a few days ago, last week actually, we did have one last week. Let me just go to the 1 hourly time frame here. Where was it? Yeah, local double bottom SFP right over here. If you SFP from this pivot, right, and you come and back test it, you want to go, right? You don't want to dance around here into the lows, because it's going to break down, right? It's, you know, an SFP is relatively fast. It's at most you want to back test and then you go, right? If it looks okay, if the level looks okay. I mean, this SFP was looking good just for the reasons of forming a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, looking for either a flat scenario here or another 4-5. It was starting to look good for double bottoms, and we got the double bottom. So we SFP'd, we back tested the level, and we left. We went up, we left, right? If you back test the level and this bounce does not successfully move, and you come back down, forget about it. Like, don't re-enter again. Get stopped out at break even. It's probably going to test the lows again and maybe break down. So this is the main reason right now. If we come back up on that back test, forget about the short, guys. You know, get out. It's going to pop out, which it is doing right now, right? If you don't back test and go, you know, this is like, you know, if you don't back test and go in this case, right? This was the back test. This is the SFP. If you're not going here, then, you know, all of this is BS. You know, I don't want to get into the short. I want to get stopped out at break even here. Not taking the chance, because it needs to go, right? If you're going to SFP and back test, you need to go. And not go. You need to fucking go, right? You need to leave. So it's not the case. So, you know, better get out here, manage risk, understanding if it doesn't want to go, it's probably going to pop out, which is the case right now, right? It's kind of moving up. So it does look like no back tests. I would say that, you know, there's this at the moment difficult short entry. It does look like it wants to attempt to hit 90.3, even 90.5. Would I consider a local double top here? Stock market testing the lows again. I'm going to say, if you are long from here, if you did get into this long position right there at the 7-8 Fibonacci with this zone, I would take profit at the highs. I would take profit at these highs if you did enter. We're coming into a very, very, if anybody longed late today, we're still in the range, right? I don't know exactly if we are going to break out from this range or it's just going to be testing the highs and it ends up still being the highs of the range, right? And we come down here. But if you did get into that local internal scalp trade, which was not easy, I would say to take profit here at the highs. Let's go through the comment section. Yeah, fucking around. Andy, you are the man, brother. Original legend. May 2026 be strong, amazing, third wave to new levels of knowledge and happiness. May the seeds you watered grow and harvest. Be great. Much love, Crypto Gardenist, to you. Double zigzag third wave on the 5 minute. Double zigzag third wave on the 5 minute. Double zigzag third wave on the 5 minute. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. Yeah, I'm not sure from where on the 5 minutes. Structure has been quite bullish throughout the last 2 days. If you longed any of these pullbacks, maybe you longed throughout the day somewhere. If we roll from here, if we were to roll from here, I'm happy to say I'm missing the short. When we come so close to hit that high, I'm not in a short position at the moment. If we were to roll from here, for me it's a miss short. So not that interested myself in the short. But it definitely looks like very toppy. It's wicking. It's kind of, wants to stop everybody out. But yeah, for me, the fact that we come so close here on the 5 minute to almost hit this low, and for this to be a bearish move down, with this almost taking out the high to roll over. Yeah, you don't want to come that close to the high. Literally getting to the 0.9 Fibonacci for this to be something bearish. So if the price really rolls over from here, for me it would be a miss short. The back test is fine, the NSFP is fine, but being defensive, I'm not going to give another chance on the short here, right? You move down here, this back test needs to go. You form higher lows. I'm getting out of the trade, and not attempting any more shorts. Just because if it's gonna local SFP, it needs to SFP and go, guys, right? Or back test and go. Don't dance around here. Still building momentum. And whoever long down here, as a day trade, I mean, it's up $1,000. Would consider collecting some profits at the high here, just in case you do double top locally. For anybody that is long on this higher low, taking out the highs is you know, taking out the highs in an uptrend is your first target, right? Taking out the highs is your first target when you're getting into local pullbacks. So yeah, this would be a first TP1 for anybody that did long this pullback that we did get just after New York Open. For any shorts, no new shorts here for me anyway. I'm gonna have to start taking out the levels here, because the highs that I'm gonna say the golden pocket from the pivot high of the range, and I'm talking about the 9th of December here, to the pivot low. I'm gonna say that the golden pocket is very. Let me just put this on the chart, guys, because with such a range of liquidity, let me mark this up as the 6.5 fib, and then this as the golden pocket, and this is the highs of the range to the lows of the range of the recent leg down. I have to say that this 61865 golden pocket zone, where we have this liquidity, is going to be my next interest zone for the short. 90,700. And this is literally just getting to that fair value gap, as you can see. Fair value gap, lower highs. I would treat this lower high as an SFP. This one right over here that we have on the drop down from the 12th of December. This lower high right there, I would treat it as an SFP level. There's going to be a guideline here to see if the price breaks out or rejects. Not too far away from that level. We're just about $700-800 away. But that's literally sweeping up that liquidity, right, that we do have above us. So it's kind of a short squeeze. And SFPs are very, very common, right? When you got a major pivot high or a major pivot low, you know, they just happen, right? Major lower high, they just happen. And this is a significant one without a doubt. It's been a significant lower high zone for over 3 weeks now. So, yeah, I think the best zone right there, that's where we do have that, all of that liquidity, would be the best area. If you break above that 90,700, you know, I have to say, I wouldn't be interested. I would be looking for the point of control of the range, which is this one right over here. No, sorry, not this one. Oh yes, yeah, 91.4. I need to treat these levels as guidelines, because I have to say, I'm interested in shorts here on the movement up. Could we get a larger breakup to the upside? I mean, absolutely yes, but this is why I have guidelines, right? You know, this needs to be, if you trade above the level, I'm not going to short, right? So if we do get up there, we got the golden pocket zone, range point of control, and the lower highs of, you know, the fair value gap right there. This is going to be the area. What I would be looking at here for the short is wick above that level, and then look for the entry point stop loss, because I do believe that a bigger pullback here could be on the formation. But it needs to reject, right? I ain't going to go crazy if we are maintaining above the level. If it breaks above the level and maintains above the level, I will literally not be interested in being in that short. Only in the rejection. And if it breaks through 90.7k, I'm going to remain patient in this area. till we actually hit the point of control. And that's going to be my guideline level here, the highest volume node of this range. And the next plan, if we don't SFP from this golden pocket and 90,700, I think the next level that would have to be patient for is this point of control. And if that breaks, then we break out, right? If that breaks, it breaks out. So it's guidelines that I won't be shorting on the movement up above the level. Only if we reject where I can manage risk, I will be interested in that short. So it's either SFP from this point with the golden pocket, right, of these lower highs, or move up and SFP of the range point of control. I will not be in a short in between this range over here. So, and getting into longs right now, where we are, I'm not interested in any shorts. If we did not SFP locally and we did back tests, as mentioned, probabilities are high to take out the highs, so not interested in any shorts here. Back test didn't work out, well, screw you. If anybody got into this long position, it's not a bad area to take profits. If anybody got into the long, yeah, not a bad level to take profit if you did get into this day trade, higher low long. If you're uptrending here throughout the last 1 to 2 days, and you're longing the corrections, you want to get in, or you want to get out partially of your trade. Leave some open eventually, because this could pop out, right? But yeah, whoever joined into that long position, whoever got into the short, as mentioned, it's, get out with this pump. If you back test an SFP, guys, I'm not going to go, this is the main reason why, right? Back test, if you SFP from a high, you want to go, and at most you want to back test and go. If you did get into the back test of the SFP, you should be out of the position at break even when you come up here. So it's because it needs to go, right? As mentioned, I ain't gonna dance around here. Do we short? No more shorts. Back test was the last level. You can enter, stop loss, break even. If you come up, guys, you don't want to be in that short anymore as you hit the back test again, because it's just got a high probability it's going to pop out. So there's no new shorts here. And obviously taking out this high right now, we're just about to take out that high. So it looks like it's going to pop out, guys. It looks like it wants to be taking out those 90,700 level right now. So locally, whoever's in the long, you want to maintain some open to take out 90,700. And let's see if we might get that SFP from the golden pocket. Remember, this golden pocket is from here to here, with the lower highs, with that liquidity grab. Let me just refresh this here right now and go with the liquidity here in the last week and do a refresh out. Let's go with the last 2 weeks. We do have a spike here of shorts at 91k. Short liquidations. Yeah, I think we are likely going to take out. You're just so close in hitting that liquidity, right? So I do think that we are probably going to come and take out that liquidity. We're just so close. Very likely it's going to take it. Yeah, when you're so close, not SFP, and I do think we do take out, obviously, 90,700. This is going to be an interesting area. Very interesting area. I might be interested in a short here. In this zone, depending on the reaction. I'm not going to be in a rush. If it breaks, it breaks. Okay, I got the guidance levels. Just hitting the level right now as we speak. Quick move up. Quick move up into the level. Oh, just slightly topped. I wouldn't say I would be in a rush. It is pumping quite aggressively. Still, it is above the level. It is above that lower high. Just trading above it at the moment. Fair value gap. Fair value gap. It's a cautious area for sure. So for the moment, it is trading above. Trading above the level. Does look like it wants to. Yeah, just wanting to SFP. I would treat it a little bit as a scalp and be defensive if anybody's attempting this level. Kind of wants to. Little reaction for the moment. Let's see what stock market is doing, because stock market struggling here. I think this would be a reasonable TP zone for anybody that also longed, has been longing in the last 24 hours. I think it's a reasonable take profit area. We've tested the highs of the range finally. Anybody that has been longing, I think it's not a bad idea to take some profits here. So we are SFPing in the end. So, I mean, it looks like it. I mean, just slightly below. This ends up being a successful SFP. A pullback of $1,000 maybe, and even more than that is very possible. Whoever longed, it's not a bad idea to collect some profits from here, that's for sure. Well, volume is going absolutely nuts here. Volume is really high on this move to the upside. Yeah, it's the stop loss is like a bit. It's like super small, super small. But we are at a major level, major level here at 90.7k. Major level, big fair value gap. The lower highs, it kind of wants to SFP, but it's not wanting in the end. It might take quite a little bit. It might take a bit. But yeah, whoever longed, it's not a bad idea to take profit. we're testing the highs of the range finally, and not a bad idea to look for shorts on the SFP. Whoever's been long, I mean, we look for day trades, guys. I'm interested in longs and shorts and longs and shorts. Okay, I'm gonna have a massive directional bias to go to 200k or go to 70k. I'm getting in, I'm being defensive. Stop losses are relatively small. I need to take profits if I'm, to hedge. I do think that there is a chance that the price maybe does not successfully SFP from here and actually attempts to take out the highs again later on in the next coming hours. What, yeah, this without a doubt is a zone of SFP attempt, that's for sure. Fair value gap, golden pocket from the highs to the lows. So we just gently tapped the golden pocket. Gently tap the golden pocket, but to the dollar almost from this movement down. So the 618 was tapped with the fair value gap. I have to say it is an acceptable entry with stop loss at the high. And if you've been long in here, this pullback, nice little movement of 1,500 or so, not bad to take some profits. This is either failure point or go to higher levels. If anybody that's been in longs throughout the last 24 hours or even from here, I would really say that this is a zone to actually take some profits. I'm gonna and hedge if you're trying to short, right? This is a zone that I like to keep some of the long open to hedge into some possible shorts on SFP, right? Anyway, let's go through the comment section right away and see what's going on. It gently tap in it and will continue. It gently tap it and it will continue. It will continue to the upside, right? I love how people are so confident on the direction in the comment section. It's insane. We are going to go down. We will go higher. We will go lower, right? It's a lot of people are very interesting when it comes to the direction. 91.6k soon. Short from here. I have to say, shorting this SFP, it's not bad. It's not a bad entry. It depends on how much you're willing to risk. Yeah, I'm attempting the short here. I am definitely attempting the SFP. I think it's an acceptable entry. Acceptable entry. So not only an acceptable entry, but an acceptable stop loss. Move down, stop loss to break even. Happy days, right? Whoever longed the correction here. So acceptable longing zone, acceptable SFP, acceptable back test, but be defensive with your stop loss. If you don't roll down from here, then okay, I would say that a back test. I mean, it hasn't been such a massive SFP, but Would I consider that it could backtest the level? If it would have been a bit of a greater SFP, then yes. But being so small, preferably if you do move down a little bit more aggressive here, the correction does not reach the level for the backtest. Not a bad attempt, I have to say. As explained before, reaching that level, right? There's no shorts here to be taken, at least for me. The only short that I'm going to attempt is the SFP of this lower high, right? And this golden pocket. Only this one right over here, which is a beauty. It's a beauty of an SFP. Big fair value gap, lower highs, and the golden pocket of this movement to the downside. So beautiful confluence right there to attempt that short. And man, you can manage risk like a beast on this trade. The risk management on this is insane. You could already be making a 2-to-1 risk to reward if you got into that entry. I think it's definitely a good trade for sure. As mentioned, I am attempting that short. But I wouldn't short now, of course. The decision has to be made at the highs, guys, not now. Take the decision as you are SFPing from the highs, not when it rejected already, you know, $500. I would consider that a little bit late. I know a lot of people do know how to get into these trades. That was SFP. Not too good. Not too good. I think we relatively can be defend. I would consider the tightest stop loss. Tight-ish. Yeah. You know. Did just quite SFP from that lower high. It's a good level, guys, you know. It's a good level. That's why we have the guidelines, right? Guideline is this one or this one. If you get this one, then you trade this one. Do we get a solid rejection from here or not? Do we get the solid rejection from here or not, guys? What do you think? You know, just barely got that SFP. Stop loss is extremely small. The good thing about this, what this does, it really does have the chance of coming into a bigger rejection, I have to say. You know, if we were to be taking out all of this out of the way, and when we consider the bullish and bearish scenario on this structure, because we did have, I'm gonna lean on the possibility here that this three-way, you know, hang on a minute, let's go through the Elliott wave scenarios here, because I have to say that this maybe was the end of the triangle of the E wave, and there is a couple of scenarios here even though I wouldn't consider them being super fast. Man, I mean, if this was it, then this was it. You know, forming an E-wave triangle inside of a triangle, you know, is not the most common thing, but it does happen. And the difficulty that we have right now, I'm going to say, if I get stopped out of this short, I'm going to attempt either a local double top or attempt the point of control. Where is it? Where did I hide that? Yeah, the point of control literally all the way up here. Yeah, I mean, it's just if I get stopped out of that short, I know that this short has the potential coming to the lows of the range. Regardless if it's going to be from here or from the point of control potentially. I know this short has the potential to come down to the lows of the range. It has the potential, you know, the risk management is in place. You know, the risk management is there. You know, you can attempt this short a few times, but as mentioned, it's only at least for me, only at two specific levels. Either this one, which is the one that we mentioned right before getting to that level, which is kind of wanting to. Eventually, this is going to take many hours to develop. If it is going to reject, it's going to take a couple of days till it actually gets down to the lows of the range. I don't expect it for it tonight to come down. You know, it might get a move down. It might get a decent bounce. It might, you know, double top and then come down. I think a double top could be reasonable. And the risk management is golden, guys. The risk management for this is like, I can attempt this 3-4 times. And, you know, the moment it does not get stopped out at break even, then the profits are going to be very, very good eventually. And understanding the projection, you know, I know this has a possibility to come down to the lows of the range, because if this turns out to be a WXY where this triangle right over here, the E wave can be a triangle on its own, which is, you know, it is rare, but it does happen. And I would say that maybe this was the E wave of the triangle. And what happens on the possibility of your wave Y is that you form a flat where you sweep up the highs, sweep up the lows, and then sweep up the highs. And then we'll see what happens next. But, you know, you could see the price rolling over later on. And this could be your Y wave, which, you know, you literally form a flat, which is extremely confusing, of course. But an ABC flat here is possible. So this is why trying to short the levels that I've been telling you as an SFP is, you know, absolutely very, very acceptable. And I would say sweeping up 86.4, you know, would obviously, if anybody got a good entry, right? If you don't enter at the exact SFP, guys, you know, don't enter, right? You need to be, but I know that this has the possibility of an ABC flat And I know that the levels of rejection, right? I know the levels where the price could reject successfully. Will it turn out to be this pattern or not? I don't know. I know it's possible, but I don't know if it's the one that's going to play out, if I'm honest. Obviously, this could take a long time. You know, this could still, even as this range is extremely long, this could still be way, way, way longer. This could still form a 3-wave move. So you've got this movement up that ends up SFP. You get the correction throughout the next coming days. And then you get the leg up to hit 91.4. And you get a 3-wave up. Then a 3-wave down. And then you get the 5-wave to the upside. And then you move down, right? Everybody's going to be like, oh, it's bullish, it's bearish, it's bullish. Right? And it's just going to get a lot of confusion here. So I don't know which one is going to play out. But I do know that the levels, right, that we could, you know, attempt the entry, have good risk management. I don't know, guys, you know, well, I'm not here to say we are going to go to 95k, right? We will go lower, right? I'm here to say maybe this is going to happen. If we hit this level and we SFP, I'm going to get into the short, right? And I'm going to have stop loss at the high. And, you know, I know it has the possibility of coming lower. I know this could be a correction. And then we get one more leg up to finish the A wave in a 3-wave structure, because an A wave inside of a flat is a 3-wave structure. Maybe that's the one that gets rejected at the point of control. I will still attempt it, of course. Point of control of this range. You know, and attempt this SFP. And then, you know, price comes down to sweep up the lows at 86.4 and then look for the 5-wave move to the upside. There's a lot of gurus out there on YouTube, guys, that are going to tell you that we're mooning to, you know, 150k. But I'm not the one. I want to get into shorts, longs, and, you know, manage risk and you know, realize where the setups are. So we just got another one here, which is the SFP, which so far it is trying to SFP from that level, which is just tapped the 618 Fibonacci, right? Gently tapped it. So not bad to manage risk all the way up there as well. Let's go right away through the comment section. Swing failure pattern is an SFP. Yeah, if you didn't sniper, then there is no point entering the short now. Exactly, guys. 6 Juanita plus SFP. Mariela, you know. Woo. I mean, yeah, you need you need to be in the game, right? I know Mariela is very much 90,660 is a very, very good entry. That is a very, very good entry for sure, right? On the SFP. Round about that zone is good for the entry, right? I'm trying to get this in here. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. Long that pullback to take out the recent highs. I have to say it was acceptable. Was acceptable for that. The problem is if you short down here, it's man, it all depends on how much you want to risk, but for sure there's no guarantee of this rejecting from here. There's absolutely no guarantee. We might pump to 91.5k in the next coming hours. Only thing that you can do is manage risk, hedge, you know, you know, if we do take out those highs, I would attempt a local double top. I'm happy to put stop here just at the highs. A double top could be attempted. Stock market ended up breaking the lows and back testing the level. A little bit of negative correlation here with Bitcoin. Guys, remember, if you are interested in trading, Bluffin for me is one of the best. Okay, you do have great bonus down below in the description. Bluffin is an awesome platform. They do have great bonuses for the community, and for me, they are one of the best at the moment. Okay, $1,000 deposit bonus. If you deposit $7,000, you're getting $1,000 on top of that, which is absolutely awesome. It just increases your trading capital. You only need an email and a password to sign up with Bluffin, guys. And you also got the decentralized option, which is Velto. This connects directly to your wallet, guys. When you click on Velto, you do get a small little tutorial here, and this connects directly to your wallet, be it MetaMask, Ledger, whatever wallet you're using. It uses the BNB chain, Arbitrum, Ethereum, and you know, you have full custody of your funds, of course, using this decentralized option. That's the second link down below, guys. And the fees are very, very good on Velto. I have to say they are doing a very, very good job, as decentralized platforms are still not too attractive for the viewers, for the traders. A lot of traders still prefer using centralized exchanges with high liquidity, such as Bluffin, Bybit, right? But they do have high liquidity. Make sure to test them out, and the fees are very, very low, as you can see. 0.02 taker fee on Velto, guys. Check them out right away. The good thing is that you have full custody of your funds, of course, which is absolutely awesome. So Bitcoin SFP from the first level to short. What will it succeed or not? Maybe yes, maybe no. I do not know, but it was an acceptable entry, that's for sure. Fair value gap, lower highs, sweeping up some of that liquidity. Get the dump, Bitcoin. Get the dump, behave. Boom, 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 pumping. SFP or no SFP, let me know in the comment section. Swept up some liquidity in the end to the upside. I think unless I'm going to sleep and the price creates a double top here and then goes, I would attempt a double top locally here, but I would be a little bit cautious. I don't like this zone because I ain't going to play around with shorts here, that is for sure. Guys, we got a fair value gap. The volume that we have when it increases is at 91,400. That is the only next level that I'm going to attempt to short if it is respected. I'll get stopped out on that trade, and if we break through, I will not attempt any shorts unless we double top locally, where I can get an entry and be defensive on my entry. And the next level, as explained, is going to be the point of control. That's it. Just not gonna, depends if I'm awake or not, but this would be the next level for me to enter that short trade. The point of control at 91.4k. Anywhere in between, I'm not going to be adding to shorts or any of that nonsense. I'm going to get stopped out, and the next level would be the point of control. and that's it. If we break above those levels, then eventually when we'll just go higher. I haven't got much levels here above 91.4k. Let me just double check here. Previous week, we are at previous week highs and previous week close, so we are, you know, it's an interesting zone here without a doubt, right, to reject. Previous month close, previous week high, which was this one here on the 22nd of December. There's not that many levels above us. Monthly, weekly. Yeah, there's just not much going on here. So I would be, you know, this is a zone to be quite defensive. Have a plan. My plan is SFP of this level, which we've done right now. It looks like we want to test the highs again or not. I'm not sure. We're not rejecting strongly, so I like to get a pretty decent rejection and then a very choppy bounce. That's when it looks good. But if rejections are just not getting any selling pressure, then we just need to be defensive, right? This is counter trading as well, right? You're shorting into a pump on the rejection SFP level, right? It's going to get stopped out. It's going to get stopped out. Do we get stopped out on this trade? Ay. It wants to move higher. It wants to go, wants to fly, it wants to fly. If we don't local double top here, the next major pivot, 91.4, which is the point of control, is going to be the next zone. Next zone here, unless we reject. From here, local double top, I would consider. We're gonna have to see. There's no buying pressure. 0.88 tapped. Damn you, Bitcoin. 0.88 tapped. Let's see. 0.88 on the 5 minute, I guess. Not good. No bueno. It's not the greatest. Kind of probably back testing the level right now of that SFP. Back test it is. Back test of the SFP, which is cheeky. I'm not being defensive on this one. I'm having stop loss at the high. I did not protect position on this one. My stop loss still remains at the high. I just got a good entry. It's, you know, I'm happy with that loss. It's totally fine for me. I mean, we just recently we just back tested the level right now, right? That's the SFP level. Big drop, fair value gap. This is a danger zone. danger zone. If you do not reject from this point, this is danger zone. Between 90.7k and 91.4k is danger zone. No adding to shorts, none of that nonsense, because this is gonna, if it takes this high, it's gonna slice through like butter. So stop losses need to be where they need to be. So SFP, back test, all of that is all great. If you back test the level like we've just done, we need to start rolling over in the next coming minutes. This back test of the level needs to start rolling over from here. If we start dancing around in this zone, yeah, it's going to be exit. It's going to be not good. If you create this SFP and you back test, you want to go right now. There's more buying pressure than selling pressure. Somebody was saying there's no buying pressure. There's actually more buying pressure than selling pressure here. If you don't leave in this back test now, it's not good. A back test should be the moment where it goes. If you move down here and then you come back up, double back test is never good. Double back test is most of the times you're going to take out the high and move higher. So this is why this double back test was not good. This back test was okay for an entry, but as you move down, if you come back up to the level, if you move down from here and you don't go and you move down and you come back up, you know, it's not going to be good. Eventually you will look for that breakout, very likely. So yeah, what can we say? Back test needs to go. This is sure to be the retest of the golden pocket. Please analyze the move from 125k to 80k. Is there a way to count a valid impulse? If not, should the bull market resume? Meme Cat, much love. Alias, much love to you, brother. Shorts coming in. Yeah, let's take a look at CVD here. Ooh, a lot of longs entering the market. At least on US dollar tether on Bybit. Some longs entering here. Not that many shorts on Bybit. Only 2.8 million shorts. Just a half an hour ago here on the Delta. So not that many shorts entering, huh? Some longs entering here on US dollar tether on Bybit. We can see the CVD is going absolutely bananas on Bybit US dollar tether. So longs are actually longing into resistance on Bybit US dollar tether pair. That's nice to see for the shorters, of course. You want to create that liquidity to the downside here. Get some longs entering into resistance. That is good. Anyway, somebody here was saying about, sorry, my man, I read your comment. Can you take a look at the movement down? There's no impulsive move to the downside from that I can see anyway. Let me just take a look at Bitcoin. Zooming out here. Okay. BTC US dollar on Bitstamp. Let's go right away. Thanks for the comment asking about, can you see a solid impulse from all-time high? And there is not. And the impulsive move to the downside, if this were to be a wave 4, we are losing time, losing momentum. Something that is very interesting when you consider an impulsive move to the downside. If this were to be the case, right? There's no major 5-wave structure to the downside here. This would have to be it. But we have overlap from wave 4 and wave 1. So this would have to be either a double 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5, and you're looking for 4 5s. That is not the case. Can this still be a wave 4 in this sideways corrective move? It can. However, the moment that you hit the top of the channel from the start of your wave 1 to the end of your wave 2 and the end of your wave 1, it decreases the probability that you're looking at a wave 4. Usually what you see when you take into consideration Elliott wave theory, you got your wave 1, your wave 2, the third wave usually breaks out from the base channel, okay, the lower part, and then the top of the channel, the lower part and the center of the channel usually is resistance for your wave 4. Usually your wave 4 would come in here, right? The lower of the channel and the middle of the channel is usually the resistance, the most common area where the price gets rejected in a wave 4. And as soon as the price gets to the topper end of the channel, it means that it's wasting time, that the probabilities of this movement to the downside to be completed is increasing. And we don't have a solid impulse down here. So with that theory, you realize that, okay, wave 4 right now has lower probability because it's just taking a long time and it's getting to the top of the channel. The channel is taken from the start of wave 1 to the end of wave 1 to the end of wave 2. And, as mentioned, wave 3 breaks the lower part of the channel. Wave 4 usually gets resistance from the lower end or the center of the channel and then forms the wave 5. The moment you start extending above the resistance of the channel, it decreases the probability, right, that you're looking at an impulsive move to the downside. So, yeah, price wants to shoot up here. I got stopped out of the short. Short was stopped out. I need to hedge a little bit on that short. On that, yeah. Need to close a little bit of that long trade. So yeah, no short for me to be taken until 91.4k. We'll see how 91.4k is going to react. But for the moment, just having some of that long position that was luckily got into that long position on that pullback, which was an option. Local pullback of today, just get continuation to the upside. Anyway, about this scenario. So yeah, with this in mind, we don't have an impulsive move from all-time high to the low. That means that this is very, very likely a 3-wave corrective structure. A, B, C here, running flat, or WXY, it doesn't really matter. But you don't have a completed 5-wave move down. There's, you can't count this eventually because your wave 5 is the longest and it would have to be a contracting diagonal. That's not possible. You got overlap with wave 4 and wave 1. There's no solid way to count an impulse, which means the highest probability here is that you have some kind of a 3-wave structure with your B wave being a complex sideways correction. either a WXY and then down. So that's A wave, impulse, C wave, impulse, sideways, correction right there. Wave 4, low probability at the moment. This means eventually that, yeah, we do expect all-time highs to be taken at some point in the future, in the next coming months. That has the highest probability at the moment, just because we were not able to finish an impulse. This could have been the wave 4, but this should have already rolled down. The fact that we took longer means that this is very, very likely a 3-wave structure. And of course, right now we're discussing a WXY maybe, or maybe you have a flat here and then you move down. This could still be a double zigzag. We do go to lower prices, but eventually it's a good sign already that this is a 3-wave structure, because what we would be looking at here is for this correction to extend, either form, here you could form a zigzag move to the upside, as mentioned, take out 95, 96K, and that would be your X wave. So this would be your wave W, your wave X, and then a zigzag down maybe to take out 80K, but maybe go to 70 or 60K max. This would be bullish. This would be a naturally bullish eventually for the next coming months. It's just going to extend. It could be a sideways WXY. If this pushes up to 100K plus in the next coming weeks, then eventually a zigzag down, a corrective structure here. Then you could form a flat here, or you could form a triangle, go a little bit more sideways. Ultimately, what this says is that the probability for an impulse right now are very, very low. As we did extend in time, the probabilities in an impulse down from here were looking still acceptable. But as the price extends in time and it takes longer and longer, and we obviously hit the base channel here, okay, the higher part of the base channel, then yeah, this is very uncommon for a wave 4 to get out of the top of the channel in an impulse, which eventually gives high probability that this movement down is a 3-wave structure, which eventually looks very, very good for the future to take out all-time highs again, right? It's just we're moving down in a corrective structure. Obviously, that doesn't mean that we go up from here, right? The 3-wave structure could be a zigzag down, zigzag up, wave X, another sharp zigzag to the downside, right? Take out 80K and even 70K, and then, throughout end of 2026 or mid 2026, bottom out. But it means that you're correcting down. You're not moving down impulsively. Somebody was asking here, even though I've taken a little bit here too long to discuss this scenario, that do we have an impulsive move down from all-time high? And the answer is no. The answer is no. There's no solid impulsive move down from all-time high. So you got this leg down, this leg up, this leg down, this leg up, this leg down. 5-wave move down, only scenario would be a contracting diagonal. Wave 5 is longer than wave 3. That's not possible. This is taking extremely long for the wave 4, getting to the top of the channel. Yeah, this is just high probability. It's a 3-wave at this moment, which automatically means we do expect all-time high in the future, right? I used the 4-year cycle to sell at 125K. Absolutely awesome. I actually sold only 15%. Only, 15% is quite a lot. Come on. It depends on how many Bitcoin you have. I ain't got 1 Bitcoin. But I didn't sell everything, which, this is you know, and you can never sell the exact high everything and never buy the exact low. I DCA'd into this area below 30k. As soon as we broke below $30,000 in the previous bear market is when I started DCAing aggressively, and I had many months here. This was awesome because I had so much time to DCA. And in this cycle, I've only sold 25% of what I bought throughout the last few years. Where I sold was at 90k. I sold some, I think, already in this rally of 2024. I'm not sure if it was somewhere here or somewhere here at 90k. Can't remember now. But I also sold at 100k, 5% at 90k, 5% at 100k, and 15% exactly here in October. And that was my biggest unload of my Bitcoin holdings, which was 15%. Which was like, yeah, I'm, you know, selling the exact Pico top, right? But I didn't sell everything eventually. I rode 75% down, right, of my holdings. But it's still good. Still very good. It's disturbing to hold cash at the moment. I do hold cash at the moment, and I've just, you know, got significant in my trading account. Just don't know what to buy at the moment. Still holding Bitcoin. I don't want to buy silver because it's super high, or gold, or, you know, index. Maybe, I don't know, maybe some nuclear energy stocks or something. Just really don't know what to buy. I'm not interested, you know, I've not seen something attractive to buy at the moment regarding stocks. And Bitcoin I would want to buy lower. I already got some in my, I'm still holding significant amount, so I just don't want to buy at these levels. I would want to buy below 80k, then I would consider start DCAing again. But yeah, anyway, what a legend though. Whoever somebody sold at 125k here. Absolute legend. Well done. What can we say? Absolute legend. Cheeky Bitcoin. Local double top here. Little cheeky here on the local double top. Nya. Local double top here on Bitcoin. Market wants to get you out. Market wants to get you out. Yeah, I mentioned the possible double top here or point of control of the range. I have to say, if there's too many Bybit longs on US dollar tether are going absolutely bananas here, at least very locally. Some shorts entering at the Pico top at 90.8k here. That's not that great. You want to see longs entering at the highs so they can get trapped. You don't want to see shorters. That's not nice. I don't like to see a few million here in shorts on the exact high here. Not that it's very much, but preferably you get longs entering here at resistance, which is the case on US dollar tether. Huge amount of longs entering on US dollar tether here on Bybit, which is kind of nice to see for these double tops. I wouldn't go too crazy here on attempting. I mean, if you're managing risk, I mean, that's totally fine. but I wouldn't go too crazy here on attempting like 10 shorts, right? If the price is going to take out the highs, you know, I wouldn't go like try and attempt every single one here. Unless we, you know, if the price moves down, you know, I would, the next the biggest major pivot for me would be 91.4k. That would be the ultimate major pivot for the shorts. It's just the point of control of this range. It's just the biggest level to consider that short anyway. How are you feeling? Are you feeling bullish or bearish, guys? Let me ask here. 64% of the people watching the stream are feeling bullish. 36%. We got over 1,000 votes. Absolute legends. Market won't leave behind 87k. CME gap. It'll dump, says Nitro. Now majority of the liquidity is to the downside. Exactly. So this is the thing right now. We've swept that liquidity. It's happened. Still got a little bit of that punchy liquidity at 91. This is why. This is just below the point of control. 91.3, 91.4. That's kind of an interesting area. Still got a bit of room here to attempt to try and go high to hit that that rest of liquidity, because there is still some liquidity up there. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, as mentioned, we don't need to sweep the liquidity. We've seen liquidity being missed by $100, right? Look at all of the liquidity we missed at 86.3, 86.5. Mucho. And we were just a few $100 away throughout last week, right? So, yeah, it doesn't mean. Let's see if we don't. I'm going to try and... if we don't fail from here, the next level is the point of control. What can I say? And if it does any funny business here and it starts ranging, you know, it's just not worth it, right? Usually I want to see big rejections from here, like tap the level. It's nice to see lots of longs entering, or at least on Bybit US dollar tether. Lots of longs entering here at the resistance SFP level. So interesting zone for a rejection without a doubt. Much love to everybody. Thanks for joining the stream today, guys. Much love. Order waiting, GGG. Much love. Next week will be quite volatile. Absolutely. Right now it's New Year. Yeah, Christmas holidays finished. So volatility, directions, right, happening. I've been trying to learn from you since you had like 10k subs. Congratulations on your journey to 200k subs. Much love to you. It still has a way to go. Mimcat. Abrazo de año nuevo, Andy. Muchos éxitos. Verderi, much love y mucho éxito para ti también. Much love to you. Yearly open doesn't matter anymore. We do have a yearly level somewhere. We're actually closing the yearly level right now at 93,000. That's interesting because that's at the valley area high of this range. Interesting. Yearly level at 93,354. Definitely take it into consideration. Buy US dollar tether to, do you mean US dollar tether BTC pair? Exactly. When I say Bybit US dollar tether, I mean BTC USDT pair on Bybit. Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. We appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much. Empero, much love to you. Thanks for joining. I got burnt. I forgot about my Ethereum. Ethereum? I'm really out of altcoins at the moment, as in trading and doing analysis, guys. I'm really focusing mainly on Bitcoin trading. Ethereum got a little bit of a juicy pump here. A little bit of a juicy pump. Bitcoin, just trying to get into that short. You know, I got stopped out of this recent short. Could it reject from here? I'm just holding that small long position. It does look a little bit exhaustive at this moment with this rally. I have to say, short is not looking too bad. I mean, we are uptrending eventually, but it's not looking bad for the short. Best attempt would have been that local double top here, just for a good entry, because it's gonna top out at some point, right? And it's gonna go. So I got wicked out of that level and I didn't re-enter, and maybe this is the one that actually moves down aggressively, guys. So whoever catched, I don't know what I was doing. I was distracted, I think, with the comment section, but it doesn't really matter. We got opportunities every day, or almost every day. But yeah, so SFP of this zone, so swing failure pattern, fair value gap. It's either SFP from here, swing failure pattern, or local double top, which I missed out, guys. I'm not going to enter a short here. If we come up to back test, I might consider it. And this is the important thing as well. Understand that I got stopped out directly here from the SFP, and I didn't enter this short. If I don't enter here, I ain't gonna enter here and put a stop loss here. At least me. I mean, I could and lower risk, so lower the percentage of risk. Instead of risking 1 to 2%, I can risk 0.5 of stop loss if I enter late. But yeah, if I'm like I like to be catching the exact level so I can have the tightest stop loss possible, and manage risk. I got stopped out of that short, and you know, but if I can't enter, can you guys see? Hang on a minute. Yeah, if I can't enter that exact SFP locally, I'm not going to enter down here. If I didn't catch this one, I could enter here with a smaller position, just because it does look a little bit toppy. But yeah. Does look a little bit toppy. And might with 0.5, just a little bit late. If we come back up here, I might consider that entry as a back test. Get a little bit of a bounce here. Looking at the 1 minute here, could this be a nice, interesting move down? Maybe consider the back test. Got a bit of nice movement down here. Bang. Maybe consider the back test. But I'm not shorting down here, that's for sure. Gonna wait for a little bounce. Gonna wait for a little bounce, and I will consider that short. At the back test, just because the stop losses, I like to have tight stop losses. I like to have, you know, small losses. Will this be the one that the SFPs, you know, I got wicked out on this one. We can't catch them all, guys. This ain't Pokemon. You can't catch them all. So good to be in a live stream. Time zone, Mariela, much love to you. Thank you very much for joining the live stream. Smash up the like button, you lazy buggers. How many likes do we have? What's going on? Joining the live stream. Go. A few attempts. I'm no longer in the short. No longer in short. But I kind of want to. I got wicked out here. This is the problem as well. If you're very, very, very defensive, it's just it is a rejection point. Should have entered that double top and just local double top. I mean, very, very locally, right? Doesn't matter if we roll from here. I'm gonna have to miss the trade. I'm gonna have to consider it as a missed one, guys. But anyway, a few options today. A few options. SFP back test. I got stopped out at break even on this movement. It was just not. If we did not roll over, it's just not worth it on this back test. And considering the long here at the golden pocket 7-8, because the stock market was hitting the lows. On the S&P 500, sorry, was hitting the lows. We did get a bounce for that long on Bitcoin at this level. That's the one that I'm currently holding. I had to take some profits eventually to pay off this stop loss and to pay a bit of the fees of this stop loss. But currently not in the short. But you know, I think there's obviously that chance of rejecting from here, guys. But, you know, if I didn't catch this SFP with stop loss here, I don't want to enter here with stop loss here. I need to lower my percentage at least half, right? So if I'm used to risking 1 to 1.5% on an entry as stop loss from here, if we already halfway out of my risk management, I need to cut in half that 1.5% at least to 0.75% of risk as a stop loss. I just don't like entering late. I would rather say, okay, I missed the trade if it rolls over. If not, get the move up, and maybe the back test will be. We'll consider that. We don't rush into, we don't FOMO into trades. We don't do that. We're very, very patient. So no short at the moment. Got wicked out of that short. I had to take some profits of that long. To obviously hedge against that stop loss. Let's go through the comment section, see what the legends are saying. Let's go. Legends. We got over 1,000 votes, guys, and 300 likes. What do you think about that? Legends. What do you think about that? On the poll, 1,070 votes, and we got 300 likes, 315 likes. Is that possible? I'm going to go around the table. Let's see if we can get to at least 350 likes. 1,000 likes. Come on, legends. We can do better than that. We can do. Rejected. Trying to reject. BTC to 82k today, says Lost DXX. My goodness. Don't say that. You're making me wanting to short BTC to 82k today. Matt, well, hey, you're very confident. That's not happening, my guy. Meme cat. Oh, hell no. That's not good advice. Come on, liquidity sweep. Making ending diagonal. Making an ending diagonal at the moment. What time frame? Let me know. Let me just go around the table, see how many likes we're going to get here. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Oh yes, legends. That like button getting destroyed. Interesting to see the amount of people that are bullish for January. 64%. Let's go. 1,000 votes, 300 likes. No bueno. My math doesn't math. Exactly. Exactly, Mariella. What can we do about it? 2-minute time frame ending diagonal. 2-minute time frame is really squeezing it. Squeezing it. Ending diagonal. Ending diagonal. 2-minute time frame. Man, can we treat this as ending diagonal? 1, 2, 3. Kind of looks sexy. I mean, ending diagonal at the SFP zone. I mean, come on. Come on. That fair value gap right there. I mean, come on. It is a zone of rejection. We know that. This is a zone of rejection. Last lower highs. I didn't manage to catch that local double top, but I wouldn't go too crazy here. If it doesn't want to go, it doesn't want to go. It is the golden pocket from the highs of the range to the lows of the range, to the recent lows, basically, right? And it's that fair value gap. It is a rejection point, but BTC might not leave it very easy for the people to enter the short legends. It's going to be a bit wicky. It could double, triple toppy, and then take the roll over, right? As mentioned, I'm not in. I attempted this one, got stopped out with this movement up. If we come up here, either back test, I would consider the back test, give a bit of room. If not, the next level I'm gonna consider is the if we break from the recent highs that we formed, the best level without a doubt is that point of control of the range at 91.4. Hang on a minute, this is Bitstamp. We cannot trust this. High volume exchange. 91, there we go. 91.4k point of control of this range. If we do not reject from here, which is the golden pocket. Local double tops. As mentioned, I am not in that short. I'm only in that recent long scalp trade, which is basically hedging the short attempt that I got into, of course. Missed the double top here. It would have been. It's not. This was a good entry for the double top. I did say I'm not sure what I was doing. I think I was doing higher time frame. But yeah, that would have been. This would have been the entry point. That would have been the stop loss. And obviously, this could pay off. 5-6 times stop loss. Maybe it comes down to the lows of the range. I mean, lows of today's higher low at 88.5k. I mean, risk to reward here is good. Just because on the higher time frame we do have That very, very good SFP level. I mean, I would say that this does have the potential for a bigger move down. We've been pumping throughout the last 2 days, so, and we are at the SFP level. We are at the golden pocket. There's no major reason to believe that we're going to absolutely explode and go to 100k still. We're literally testing the top of the range of the last 2 weeks. So I missed that double top, guys. As you can see, I'm not in the short, but it was a good short. Whoever catch that short, it's just a good level with a good risk management. It does have the possibility not only to coming down to these lows, but even breaking down. So I could enter with 0.5% of capital just because I'm entering late. Yeah, you could always lower risk eventually, just so you don't miss the move. Let me know in the comment section. Are you long? Are you short? Let me know right away in the comment section, guys. Who's long? Who's short? I am shorting. I am longing. Let me know. Meme Cat, why are you so bullish? How much you want to bet for that? Are you risking your farm? Dump it. Thank you. We are at resistance. We've claimed some liquidity. We are at the fair value gap. You know, it is a rejection point, right? It is a rejection point. It is rejection point. Anybody that has been long throughout the last 24 hours, regardless here, or here, should be taking profits aggressively in this zone for sure. Without a doubt. And consider the shorts. Consider the shorts without a doubt. It is an SFP level. Double top. Got missed on the double top. But yeah, let me know right away in the comment section. Will this be the rejection point? Or will it not? Yeah, whoever catch that local double top, eventually much better entry. Much better entry. Shorts entering crazy. Yeah, let's take a look at CVD here. Let's take a look at CVD, because if we do some shorts entering here on Bybit, but at the lows, that's not good. We've got a few shorts entering here, which are not strong enough, that will be creating some local bullish CVD divergence. Higher lows locally on price action, lower lows on the CVD on Bybit. And I have to say, Bybit CVD is usually very, very good. I like Bybit, which is the yellow, because they do play out very, very nicely. So some shorts entering, as mentioned, not the ideal scenario to enter shorts as we're moving down in a bullish uptrend. You know, if you're scalping and you're looking for a solid entry, your SFP is the best option. In an uptrend, shorting down here, you know the trend is your friend. If you want to short, you want to short the major levels of resistance, double tops. Don't short down here. Even though if the price rolls over, it's just not giving you a great stop loss. But yeah, when you zoom out on the higher time frame, we've been moving up in the last 24, 48 hours. We at the top of the range, fair value gap, golden pocket from the high to the low. It is higher time frame rejection zone, that is for sure. It is higher time frame rejection point. Muy interesante, muy interesante. Short 90.4k. Short at 90.4k. I would consider that. Short at 90.4k. A little late. A little late. A little late. Momentum is still bullish. I mean, unless you're getting into the double top. Unless you're getting into the double top. Yeah. Unless I short here, I'm not shorting. You know, I'm not the guy that, oh, we double topped here, so I'm going to short here, and then, you know, it's just not worth it. I would rather say I missed catching the double top. That's it. Shorting here is just no, not happening. At least for me, anyway. Anyway, get legends. I didn't bet the farm. You did. How are you going to pay me? Hey guys, calm down. I'm going to send you my wallet address. What's going on here? Come on, guys, be nice. No fighting. I bet doesn't go one way. How will you pay me is the real question. Come on, guys, what are you talking about? Could be a bear trap. Could be a bear trap. Shorting from 90.7 with Kamikaze 60x. Carlos Herman. Kamikaze 60x. Leverage doesn't matter. As long as you are not risking half of your account, right? Leverage doesn't matter. It's only a tool. You still need to manage those short percentages on each trade, right? Don't bet the farm, as Memecat is saying. But yeah, lower time frame. Eventually, we're still in bullish momentum. Still bullish momentum. What is sexy is the 1 hourly time frame. Where are we at right now? This is like the zone of rejection. There's no doubt about it. It's the higher time frame zone of rejection. This area to get a larger pullback in the next 1 to 2 days. So it's all about managing your trade, where to enter, what you're risking. Local double top. Consider if the top is taken. I'm sitting on my hands and I'm waiting for the $91,400 rejection. If it does, point of control. If it does not reject from that point, I haven't got any major levels to the upside, unfortunately. In this area, value area high and the yearly level, which we got just yesterday, right? Because we had a new year entering the market. When you go to the yearly chart, we do have a new yearly level because it's a new year. When you go to the yearly chart here, new yearly level at 93.3k, right? That's that yearly level, which is sitting right at the value area high of this trading zone. So the only, if we were to break out from, obviously this is a rejection point. If we break out from the local top, next major pivot to reject is 91.4. And if we break from that, it's the yearly level with the value area high of the range of the last few weeks. 93.3.5. So those are the three major pivots to reject. And unless you get the exact rejection of the highs or local double tops as so right here. Such a good level, really. Such a good level. It is a good level because not only you're sweeping up that the highs of the range, basically, of the last 2 weeks. This is a 2-week range high. 2-week range high with the fair value gap, with the golden pocket. I mean, it is a higher time frame level of resistance. We cannot deny that. Sweeping up some liquidity. We do have liquidity down here. Yeah, you know, I'm very much in favor of either a rejection here, a rejection at the point of control, 91.4, to literally, you know, sweep up these lows at some point in the next coming days, maybe, you know, by next week, depending on how choppy this zone comes. I have to favor the possibility of the flat here. Let me just clean up the chart a little bit. There's 2 ways of how this Y wave can develop. There is the continuation, break, correction, and move up, and you form a zigzag in your wave Y here to take out 95k plus, the ultimate highs of the range, and you just zigzag up here in your wave Y. Wave X finished here in a triangle, and your E wave was also a triangle. Or forming the 3-wave structure A, 3-wave down B, which sweeps up all of these higher lows, and then an impulse up, and you form a flat. Very, very confusing. You know, you literally just extend the range, the larger range, and you just sweep up short traders, sweep up long traders, and then sweep up short traders again. This is like this would be a very, very good scenario eventually, just to like take everybody out of the market, anybody that's trying to long and trying to short. So you know, I'm super interested in the rejection point here. I just need to be very, very selective. Need to be very, very selective here on the short. Local double top. If I'm awake, I'll attempt local double top. If not, the point of control rejection. If we do reject, I'm not sure if it is going to reject, right? So if it breaks through, then there's not a zone to play around here, in my opinion, right? I know there's a lot of people that would just say, I'm going to get into the short, I'm going to add to the short, my stop loss or liquidation price is at 98k, so I've got a lot of room here. I don't know, I might wake up tomorrow morning and we trading at 98k, right? So I just don't, we never know at the end of the day. We have rejection points and we have risk management as our best tool. Our best tool is understand levels of confluence and understand how we execute the trades. Because at the end of the day, I have no idea what could happen, right? We can, well, we can have some ideas of what could happen, but which one will happen is we do not know. Right? So that's why the risk management is the best tool in your trading. There should be more risk management education on YouTube than actually people saying we're going to move up or we're going to move down or buy these altcoins because, you know, 100x potential, man. How many, man, I'm not sure how these altcoin YouTubers are doing at the moment, because, man, who's been hyping up the bull run so much on altcoins? I've talked about a few altcoins and been invested in a few altcoins. Some have done bad, some have done okay. But man, the people that have been doing altcoins and altcoins and altcoins, man. Solana scam coin, please. What to analyze? Almost 400 likes. Absolutely awesome, guys. It's been an awesome stream. Almost 10 o'clock here, UAE time. I'm not sure how long I've been here. But yeah, damn. Anyway, this is the zone, guys. Let's see if it does. Back test. It is at the golden pocket from the highs to the lows. We got the fair value gap. It is a zone where it could reject. Only best scenario is internal double top. Don't go too crazy. It's not worth adding to shorts. You never know how this is going to play out. But yeah, for sure, this is a rejection area. Point of control. Just, you need to short the rejections at the levels. Local double tops are acceptable for a good entry and good risk management practice. If you roll over and you missed entering to the short, you need to wait for a proper impulsive move down, right? And a corrective bounce where we could say, okay, guys, this looks good to roll over. But don't short low on the first rejection because we're still uptrending, right? It's just don't. If you don't catch the Pico top on a local double top or a rejection, it's just not worth it. Not worth it. Bitcoin should dump to 88k within the next hour. Yeah. Man, it's super confident on these in the next hour, right? It's like even the timing, right? I would say it's possible. It's possible, right? Because we do get these pumps in this range where, yeah, in the next 1 to 2 hours, you do get a possible big rejection. But I wouldn't be pointing out the exact time. That is, I'm a fortune teller. Yeah, I can see that. Sure short from the order block. Sure. In trading we trust. I got wrecked with altcoins this cycle. I actually, there's a lot of altcoins there. I wouldn't say I got wrecked, but I did lose some capital on some altcoins for sure. Yeah. Some altcoins went down the toilet. And some money went down the toilet eventually. It's just, if I said no, I would be lying. So I did lose money on altcoins this cycle. Not on Bitcoin, not on Ethereum, not on Chainlink as of yet. My average buying price on Chainlink was in between $5 and $9. So I'm not too far away on being break even on Chainlink, which is insane. But still in slight profits. I got wrecked on alts. Who hasn't, right? Who hasn't? Anyway, legends, thank you very much for joining today's stream. The zigzag is too slow, bro. The zigzag is too slow. Which zigzag? Not sure which one. Anyway, legends, thank you very much for joining today's stream. This is at rejection point. Trade with good risk management. Trade accordingly. It is a higher time frame level of rejection. We are hitting the lower highs of the range. We are hitting we're just at the low of the fair value gap that we have here from the 12th of December. We are hitting the golden pocket. Price is stopping and reacting, as we can see in the last hour. So a little bit of double tippy toppy zone is happening right now in this area. I would not short personally the move down, first leg down, we're still very much uptrending. I would rather look for local double tops in this zone. And if you don't enter the double top, it's risky based on your stop loss, basically, right? And if you don't have a stop loss, you're getting exposed to get wrecked, right? And we do not get wrecked here on this channel. So trade accordingly. Much love to everybody. Remember that you do have bluffing link down below. Remember that in the next coming days, I will be talking about the new product that we are doing, a fusion of everything. We're putting everything together, such as education setups. We've got some other coaches as well that will be taking a look at altcoins. We've done many interviews and we got this product ready. And whoever signs up to the links down below, either bluffing weeks, okay, I'll be leaving my Telegram in the next coming days for you to get that bonus and the information. Okay, we're just making a little last few polishing steps, okay, on this new product, which will include setups, of course. Much love to everybody that have joined today and smashed up the like button. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys tomorrow.